LCTRFan. I'm still trying to figure out Restream, which lets me stream to Twitch and YouTube at the same time, so forgive me if anything isn't perfect. I'm still trying to work out the kinks. I'm going to toss it over to some music as people roll in, and I'll be on in a sec.
I'm floating on a nimbus, getting lifted. Got that red and blue potion, fit to whip it into sippage. Flow like a septic tank, water thick as gunk. I'm above y'all fucking heads, it's like I'm on a different bunk. Get the butter dipping skunk, I hit the wax like it's needle drops. I can't let them down, but shit, I'm nervous when these people watch. Smoke dope and people watch. Park days, stupid bro. Can't believe his bedroom, the parquet studio. Iced out, neck cross, Kanye, blooper rolling, Zodiac, neck cross. Did y'all play Yu-Gi-Oh? Living like a need, I keep my financial stressful. All white people swear that I am the devil. When I am successful, I'ma buy a Neo Geo. Red pill, shawty, bet that I could be O'Neo. Eating rappers up, man, I'm just trying to feed the ego. Life inside a time warp, I'm trying to chill with Primo. Primo, blowing on that Primo. Primo, blowing on that Primo. Primo, blowing on that Primo. Primo, Primo.
Wake up in Glendale room, covered in herb fumes. Depression moon, subtle as perfume. I look around for the reasons to curb my dejection. I turn to anything other than myself. I don't wanna hurt you. Puffing loud till the voices grow silent. I'm not fucking around, keep the poison off my island. Boy, I'm indecisive, split the Dutch or eat the chocolate next. What was I thinking about earlier? Forgot what I forget. I'm obsessed, we're constantly trying to be not upset. That's why I get inside of my private jet. Flying in that bitch, I ain't trying to flex. High as a bitch, I ain't trying to vent. Glistening diamonds inside of the spliff. Bitch, I'm the pilot inside of the pit. Smiling provided the fire on deck. Lighting up is the entire event. Climb inside, see how much higher we get. Hitting the blunt till we tired of it. None of us here have desire to quit. Should we run growl, spill dial connects? Keep all the voices outside of my head. Keep away thoughts that conspire my death. The one that I keep away from my mind is myself. I do the most, man, I should do less.
Isn't it great? I made it myself.
Yeah, what is it?
Come on, silly, it's a sweater, obviously. I started to get really creative while I knitted it.
That's terrifying. Her sweater looks like a wet anthill.
One time for your mind, hey. One time for your mind. You know I painted masterpieces, got away with the pen. When I'm making words rhyme, that's my power within. I had homies in the trap while I'm lost at the arc. Moving blocks, running laps in the game, press start. Teachers knew that I was smart, but didn't apply. Quiet kid in the back, trying to pass the time. Trying to think of a rhyme and perfect my flow. Poke my head in the game, people thought I was slow.
bro. Listen, when I'm rapping over beats, I feel I reach a level that you could never seek. I trade war for peace, standing on the King's Rock while you're forever stone. Can't evolve your train of thought. I'm not really the bomb, I'm a light grenade. A special beam sent me down to cause some waves. I'm here to inspire young heroes with the spark. All of us are born storms, show the world you got heart. What's up? Tune into the best if you love the sound. Keep your feet at rest, keep your head in the clouds. If they hate, let them hate, they ain't seeing the art. Whole world going dark, so we bring in the spark. Tune into the best if you love the sound. Keep your feet at rest, keep your head in the clouds. If they hate, let them hate, they ain't seeing the art. Whole world going dark, so we bring in the spark. Yeah. One time for the 919, two time for the 336, going down in the 704. You are now tuned to the prefix. One time for the 919, two time for the 336, going down in the 704. You are now tuned to the prefix.
Life is too short for fear. Chase what is desired. Without change, something sleeps inside us and seldom awakens. It is terrible to be satisfied. The world needs us to chase dreams.
Hold on. How's everybody doing? Oh shit, it's a bunch of chats. I really like this rap, but sorry I'll interrupt it. White people happy? Whoa, yeah, Cat Jam. Hi buddy, is Booksmart's minding this debate or just watching it? I'm watching it. Doing some reviewing. What's up, Booksmarts? What's up, Luke? Hi, Jacob. It's cool that we can pick up the YouTube people today. Let me know if the stream title's not correct. Restream gives me the option to like push a new stream title to all the platforms, but last time it didn't. Oh, Pog, it did it. All right, cool. No, we're just watching something. We're not moderating anything. I think I would label it moderating, and then I would like do colon, you know, whatever we're moderating if I were doing that. Anywho, I'm gonna keep setting stuff up. I'll be ready in the next few minutes. Fuck this shit. I'm going there. Oh, YouTube stream is oh, okay, yeah. That's a little bit of a better experience for some people. Anywho, I'll be right back.
You are now tuned to the prefix.
Drive forward. It is destiny that calls you. We are born knowing what to do. We must only act. Love, fight, live.
Partake in the fruits of calamity. Either you're cooked on the side in a zoo full of apathy. We seem to struggle with non-binary dilemmas, seeing colors between the lines. We hide from them forever, then highlighting endeavors when convenient for our narratives. But we so bewildered when some see through all our arrogance. Look, I got no time to be fucking with y'all. You suckers, shut up with y'all. And they say I don't get it, but I get it, I get it, I got it. I don't care about anything that I oughta. But look, I don't know why, which way I should go, but I don't care about nada. Your fear and despair ain't my product. Hey, and though the road is cold, my toes stay warm, my soul's ready to go. Still puffing on marijuana. I'm gonna close my eyes when I wanna. Hey.
Yo, it's been a couple minutes since I stopped keeping count. We used to burn tree like not leave the house. Now it's all Gucci, bump hoochie in the whip. Whole lot of gang shit. I'm so schooling with the shits. I ain't tripping. I used to do my fair share of falling down. Man, that's so built to make an air chair to walk around. Imaginary places. Dropped a little acid, start acting very basic. Next thing, hit him with a check swing, a new sound. Best kind of move with the slowest kind of cool down. Oh, I'm Majin Buu down. What about the Dragon Balls? The last two sagas that were not about the Dragon Balls. Acting raw, sushi on a bed of rice. Brain fucked up, now I gotta learn my lessons twice. Feeling something like a masochist. Life's panning out like the dumbest kind of disaster flick. It's crazy, all my days lazy. Player unknown, everybody trying to play me. I'm just background noise with my background boys. Shit is subtle as a brick, let's make these raps sound coy. I spit sickness. See, homie, you are not woe. Try to fucking sum me, I be flying off the top rope. That's elbow drops. I think I'm Shawn Michaels, fresh Velcro shots. I'm fresh to death, that's on Bible, I don't buy it.
Look, I don't know why, which way I should go, but I don't care about nada. Your fear and despair ain't my product. Hey, and though the road is cold, my toes stay warm, my soul's ready to go. Still puffing on marijuana. I'm gonna close my eyes when I wanna. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. Sing it one time for your mind. I met a girl, she worked at McDonald's. Always drinking Jack in her purse as a bottle. When she just wanted to be a fucking nurse or a doctor, but she never got shit. Degrees, punch clock 6. Watch and listen, apart from getting the life stuck. She started stripping at parties, tips for the tight butt. Geez, she can make her head turn twice. Geppetto on her shoulder said her checks weren't right. She said, it's my body, I'm an independent woman, and I'm finally getting money, feeling like I earned something. And so she kept going and her tips kept growing. Creeps kept coming asking when her next show is. For some reason her body collects focus. She thought good, I guess.
Alright, what's
I
up,
get
tips?
motives. Fixated on paper chase and making cake.
How's everybody
all
doing?
night working 8
Elbow
to 8.
cough.
She met a guy,
Elbow
a
cough.
regular, let's call him Chuck. He had a real
elbow
nice
coughing.
smile, and he
Twitch
was
chat,
tall as
bitch
fuck,
chat.
and he would
Yikes.
talk to her with a decent speech. Acknowledge as a woman, not a piece of meat. And she, like that, start.
Acknowledge as a woman, not a piece of meat. And ooh, I like that. All right. What's up, dudes and duders? Let's see.
You have to form these opinions yourself. You can't cut to the chase. Drawing your own conclusions is the chase.
I really like that line. I feel like that's a really uplifting line. Oh, there were a lot of follows. Thanks for all the follows, guys. Did I perchance miss a raid of some sort? When I'm restreaming with this thing that lets me do it on both platforms, I have no idea when or if I get raided or whatever. I just followed you as Nero. All right, cool. Nero's a cool name. Does that have any relation to Devil May Cry? Oh, here. Wait, hold on. I don't have my lights or anything on. Let's start with that, and I'll switch it to chat cam. What up? What up? What up? Big pimps, Pedro, that one annoying head crab. Oh, whoops. We don't need this quite yet. We don't do that yet. We're not at the end of the stream yet. But what I will put up on the screen are the patron popper thing that I made. Okay, because I don't know if you guys on YouTube know this, but I have a Patreon, and that's basically what determines how quickly content comes out on YouTube. Because the editing takes me a long time, I'm basically pinning my productivity levels to how much the Patreon makes. Another cool thing about the Patreon, here, let me turn on the lights. Another cool thing about the Patreon, as I was saying, is that it's not in your YouTube description. Oh, shite. Well, let's see how I can rectify that. I actually... it's not in your... Urusai! How do I even edit this? I need cream. Oh, shit. You can edit the description, like, live? Hold up. YouTube's dope. Hold up. Let's see. I'll put reviewing a debate between my good streamer friend. I am really important. I'm really important. Versus LCTRFan. Not quite a friend of this stream per se, but somebody that I have my eye on. Okay. LCTRFan. And I can put links in here. Let's see if I can grab those. Let's just put a link to the Patreon. Patreon. Where am I located on Patreon? What's my Patreon? Patreon.com/ hopefully Booksmars. Booksmars. Patreon. Copy paste. All right, that looks to be it. Okay, there's the Patreon. All right, save. Dope. Oh, also, does Nightbot work in the YouTube? I wonder. I wonder if Nightbot works in the YouTube chat. Let me go edit Nightbot and see if it does. Integrations. Oh, no, it just has Discord and Mooksy. What's Mooksy? Is that some kind of, like, furry chat? It's got a fox as its emblem. Okay, I think that's all I can do. I don't think I can connect Nightbot to YouTube. Unless I can. Hold on, let me check the Twitch. They're retaking the Supreme Court. Who? WH Omega lol. The Democrats? Fuck the Democrats, dude. Breaking. Pennsylvania. Judge orders segregated ballots. The South remembers. Segregated ballots should not be counted. Oh, okay. Fuck. Should not be counted. It rules that the Pennsylvania's Secretary of State lacked statutory authority to override election law. Interesting. Well, the Secretary of State of Pennsylvania should be making peace in the Middle East, not wasting their goddamn time with votes. What's going on, Pennsylvania? Send your people where they're needed. Why is the Secretary of State worried about votes? Come on now. You gotta be worried with everything but what's in the country. Critically, the state has a Republican state legislature. Ooh, it's those Republican-run states. They just can't fucking figure voting out. They've been stuck on segregation since the fucking 50s, and they can't get over it. Bunch of sore losers in the Republican Party. How's everybody doing? Sorry for all that memery, dude. I don't know shit about politics stuff. Almost 100 viewers. Good job. Yikes. All right. Before you start the analysis, can I ask you about the Trump situation thing? Yeah, what's going on with that? Huh? Let us watch the polls, you fucks. What's the problem with watching some polls? You don't let us watch the polls. How do I know it's real? I feel like I can meme about that because I'm pretty sure that, Joe Biden is going to be president. But, I don't think he, color me stupid, all right? But I don't think President Donald Trump has worked very hard on coalition building during his time in the White House. And so I don't see him having a bunch of people jumping at the opportunity to fucking keep him out of harm's way or to keep him in there longer than he ought to be. So I don't even think his own party oh, that smells awful. That's definitely rank. When is this done? Well, sooner than that. I guess I'll eat these bagels plain. Are we getting any papers? No! What the fuck? I haven't been getting any papers lately. It's been fucked. Like, that's why I'm happy the Patreon has taken off a little bit, because, no, I'm not getting a lot of papers right now. I have no way of advertising them. My ads keep getting taken down. It's a giant waste of money. You guys, if you ever want an essay done and you have a good little bit of money, like you can pay like $20 a page or something like that, hit me up. I write essays for people. They're pretty good. The Trumpster dumpster fire has been put out, extinguished. Surely. It's been scaring me. No, it wouldn't scare me too much. I don't know. And if there is a giant civil war, I mean, that's happening a far way away. I don't think California would, like, adopt that. Well, his own party hates him, but he serves as an example of what we could do if Bernie got that level of popularity, even if the party hated him. I don't like that thinking, right? I think the parties are more powerful than you think. I don't know. Isn't that plagiarism, people think? I mean, it's plagiarism when they turn it in, yeah. If you guys turn it in, then that's on you. I mean, technically, it could just be like a sample paper, and you could change a bunch of stuff in it. Shanky Mods, Monka S, your ads got taken down? Yeah, they get taken down because they often, like, break terms of service and stuff like that, so they don't really stay up very long. That is the difficult thing about marketing essays. That's why when I found a marketing dude that was really, really working for me last year, that's why I put all of my savings into having him help me with it. And then COVID happened, and allegedly he went to the hospital and got really sick, and then I never heard from him, and I lost all my fucking money. That's how I'm in this situation that we're still trying to fucking get out of. Which, by the way, okay, so I know I was mentioning this earlier. So you see this Patreon anime pop-up bullshit. If you guys do the Patreon and you pledge, I've set it up on Streamlabs now to where there should be an alert box for pledges as well. So Patreon is like fully integrated. Now, I don't see a clear way of making a Patreon goal the same way I can have like a donation goal. I really want to do that because I want to push that more than like Twitch subs or YouTube super chats. Oh, I don't even know if I've had YouTube super chats, but technically we have super chats, guys. But yeah, if you go to the Patreon, which is now linked in the YouTube description, and for the people on Twitch, you can do !Patreon. That's there. That's how you support the show. Without further ado, I think I'll get into this and just kind of get caught up on chat first. Hold on. Was Kimiko tsundere or yandere yesterday? She kind of flips. So Kimiko kind of goes both ways. It depends on how she woke up. I really, really lubed her up today, so she's kind of docile. But if I forget the oil, she does get a bit snippety. She does turn into a little bit of a yandere queen. The book club just arrived in the mail. Oh, cool. That's awesome. I will finish the notes for it. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're doing the book club on a book called Range by David Epstein. So if you want to be a part of that book club, that's cool. We'll go through chapter 1 this week. Next week, I think we'll go through at least like 3 to 4 chapters. The book is divided into 12 different chapters, and I'll try to chunk them in like logical ways. Like there's 3 or 4 chapters I can see that are meant to go together, and so we'll do that. ! Wish list will bring up the Amazon wish list. I don't think there's anything interesting on there necessarily, but have at it. Is there any content you're working on for YouTube specifically? Yes. So again, if you're on the Patreon, you probably have a better idea of what I've got going on for the YouTube. They have early access to a video that should be posted publicly on the YouTube in the next couple of days. The gong. Yeah, there's a gong on there. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, Patreon gets early access. Patreon already has the next YouTube video, which introduces a series on note-taking. What I've been doing in the background is mostly planning, but in the next week I'll be reaching out to different streamers and YouTubers and asking them questions on like, what kind of stuff do you want to see done with note-taking? What kinds of things do you want to see covered? What kinds of things are you curious about studying? And if you have any systems like Chicken Scratch on a notepad or anything that you use for yourself, I'd be interested in hearing that. So picking their brains about that, trying to record as much of that as possible offline so that when I post a YouTube video, you guys will have not seen anything in the YouTube video pretty much. It won't be from a VOD. It won't be from my Twitch VOD. It won't be from my YouTube VOD. It'll all be filmed off stream, so you will never see it. And I think that that'll create a video that's entirely new to you guys. So that's currently what I'm working on. What up, Dudo? Dudok? Dudok? Can you enable Pog in the chat? Oh, no, because the problem is, when I use Restream, it doesn't let me have Franker Z and stuff applied to the Twitch chat that appears that you're seeing, I don't think. So I don't think there is a way, unfortunately. Yeah, sad indeed. Unless somebody, a streamer, wants to get in touch with me and tell me how to work that out, I don't think that there is a way. I think when I have Restream, it doesn't give me the options to load Franker Z and stuff in OBS, unfortunately. Which also means I don't think we can get Pogfish and stuff, which is kind of sad. Restream's like, congratulations, Booksmarts. You just hit 100 received messages in chat today with your Restream IO chat. Incredible. Keep those chatters chatting. Like, great, bruh. Well, if we can't see fish emote, what's the... We have fish emote. Pog, dude. We have fish emote. We're good. Did someone say Pogfish? All my homies love Pogfish, dude. Hey, do you have advice for people who just lost a friend? I don't mean to be a downer for stream. I just need some advice. I think I've mentioned this on stream before, and if I haven't, then here's some lore for you guys. I really like motorcycles. I still do like motorcycles, in spite of like what I've been through with motorcycles. Actually, this month on the 16th of November, I lost a friend on a motorcycle trip. I lost like a really, really, really good friend. And we used to go riding and stuff all the time. We were on a group ride with some new people, and we were up in the mountains. We had just finished like what was a really, really fun ride. I was on like an old man motorcycle, like a big like cruiser type of bike, because I wanted to chill out. He was on a sports bike with some other people. And essentially when we came down the mountain, we came down much too quickly, and he hit like a turn with a car oncoming way too quick. And either he wasn't able to navigate the turn all the way, or he braked or something, but he plowed like straight into that car going like 40 to 60 miles an hour. And the bike just disintegrated. He went flying into this like ravine thing. We had to like pull him out and do CPR, kind of what's the word? Kind of futilely. Like I remember when we first like pulled him out of where he was, I remember like feeling his ankle like popping, like his leg like popping, and I was like, oh shit, like he needs some serious help, like he's fucked up. And the dude was like, that's the least of our problems. So I mean, like, this time of the year is like a tough time, like for me, because I did lose a friend like you're describing. I would say that the thing that I try to do to get past that, though, is to think about all that fun stuff and to think about the opportunity that you have relative or respective to your friend. So, you're still around, unless you're a ghost typing to me, in which case, hello from the afterlife. But, if you're still around, there's still things you could do that I'm sure that person, if they were given the opportunity, would like readily take from you, even if it meant being like super bummed out about your passing, right? So I think it might be helpful to just like think of it in those terms, and think of like, what would your friend like want you to be up to, and like what would be something you think that would like put a smile on their face. That might kind of help you through it. But otherwise, everybody processes stuff in like their own way. So I would say that definitely take some time with yourself or with friends or however you know that you process stuff, and try to work through it as best you can, and realize that, like, unlike that person, you have some undetermined amount of life left for you. And moving forward, it should be about how you can use that to the best of your ability. I'm sure they wouldn't want you, dragging through the mud of emotion or anything for them. And if they did, I'm sure they wouldn't want that to last forever. So try to think about that. I just subbed on Patreon. I don't think okay, I'm sorry. I probably just brought down everything. I just subbed on Patreon. I don't think the alert thing is working. Just a heads up. Oh, shit. Really? Man, I struggle with loss a lot because I'm a person that doesn't feel happiness from nostalgia. I always look back at happy times and feel sad. It's odd. The summer was the worst one of my life because of a loss. Well, if that's the case, then try to think in the present how you're creating. Well, I don't know. Yeah, that is tough. I don't know. It kind of is tough. Thank you. No problem, dude. I'm sorry you're going through that. Best of luck to you, dude. Holy crap, I'm sorry to hear that. Kind of awkies to try to give sympathies through Twitch chat, but here I am. No problem, dude. Griefing is a fact of life. True. Minecraft taught me this lesson. Griefing is but a part of life, my friend. Yeah, I just subbed on Patreon too, so the alert might be, fuck! Wakanda! What is going on? What's going on? Here, let me see. I'm going to check Streamlabs because that should be working. That's kind of fucked. I spent a bunch of time yesterday trying to make sure. Hold on. Let's go to... So if I go to Alert Box and I go to... And after we finish this, we'll get into the IRI stuff. I just have to make sure everything is ready to go. Pledges. And we have pledges enabled. Question mark. Okay. Via Patreon. Yes. Okay. But why is this not going? Let's go subscriber history. Donation history. Let me log into my Patreon real quick. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why it's not working. I'll figure it out, though. I'm smart. Let's see. We smart. We'll figure it out. Let's see. Okay, so there have definitely been subscriptions, but there has been no shout-outs. Okay, so I'll do the shout-outs manually. I was telling. Wait, what was that for? Oh, okay, follow. Okay, cool. So thank you, Pedro Gabriel, Raul Placido, and Eric Galvin for your subscriptions. I appreciate that. Eric, you're also going to make it onto the credit scroll. You won't be in it for today's episode because I haven't edited the video to add you in, but you'll be a part of the credits from now on the shows and the YouTube videos. So congrats, my friend. And all of you, all three of you that have joined the Patreon just now have access to the next video that will be going out in the YouTube. And in the next couple of days, when I finish the edit for the VOD, you will also gain access to that before the rest of the world. Congratulations, my friends. Now I need to figure out why the fuck that wasn't working. Tip page, themes, apps, multi-stream, Twitch panels, YouTube thumbnails, Lucra, subscriber history, donation. I don't know why. There's no, like, history. It doesn't give me any history for that. If I go to sub history... I feel like there should be somewhere that it tells me recent events and tells me Patreon people, but it's not. Okay. Let's go to settings real quick. I mean, I added all of this yesterday. Settings. Yes. PayPal connected. Unit Pay. PayPal. Wait, where's my Patreon? Integrations. There it is. Patreon. Link your account and visit our widgets. Alert box, event list, and dashboard for your Patreon events. Okay. I hear you, but it's not on there. Come on, guys. What's going on? I don't know. Okay, I'll have to figure this out at a later date. That really sucks. I don't know how to fix this. Let me check in with Twitch chat. You guys know? He streams from the void. I'm relatively new here. Are you streaming from your garage? Yeah, I stream from my dad's garage. I live in a van that's outside. Hopefully I'll in the next couple of months. I don't know. I don't know when it's happening, dude. But I'm trying to save money and get out. I had to look relatively hard for your Patreon link. Is this intentional? It isn't in your Twitch bio or Is it not on Twitter? Holy shit! What's going on? No. I didn't know it's not on my Twitter. I like this social media wellness check that we're doing. Oh, I'm fucked up. Hold on. Okay, so patreon.com/booksmarts. Booksmartsy. All right, there we go.
My version of being polite is to at all costs avoid rudeness. And it feels like I have a much better chance of making that work by shutting up than by speaking.
I like that one. Okay, well, there we go. So patreon.com/booksmarts is now on the Twitter, but I also apparently have to edit my YouTube. Jesus Christ. I'm happy we're going through this period of corrections. This is very, very good. Very, very good. Very good to make sure that this is taken care of. All right. Settings. I don't know where to go from here. It's not in settings. Your channel. Customize your channel. I don't know where to go. Customization. Okay, customization is definitely not where I want to go. Good God, YouTube, why are you so complicated? Just give me an edit to my about section the way that Twitter does. About. Customize channel. You're right, it's not there. Wait, why is it not there? I could swear I put it on YouTube, but apparently not. Basic info. Oh, okay, here we are. What's going on? All right. HTTPS, www, Patreon, yada yada. Hacker. I'm hacking. I'm Sombra, dude. All right. Publish. What's going on? All right. All done. That's as far as we're getting. I don't think I'll be able to fix the alerts, but that's fine. You know, you can't do everything perfectly. I will, however, keep the Patreon notifications open. And for today's stream, if you want a special shout out, there you go. You get that for free. Well, not for free. I mean, you have to join the Patreon at least $3, but I will shout you out manually whenever I check. Okay, cool. No more shilling. No, whoops. No more shilling. No more anime girl. Let's get into the heart of the matter here. It's book smarts, not Twitter smarts after all. Are you enjoying the shift in temperature these past few weeks since you live in a van? Maybe not. It's been very cold in the van. The other night, it was so fucking cold. Okay, so here's the thing. My dumbass leaves the garage at like 2 a.m. I go into the van. I have one blankie over me because I'm sitting here with the blankie shivering in the garage. And then I go into the van. I only got the one blankie, and it's like a fake blankie. It's one of those Mexican blankets that are all hand woven. And so I go into the garage. I go into the van. And that's it. Normally I have two of those and then like jackets, and I like maneuver them in such a way where I keep warm. And I only had one, and I was so fucking cold the entire night that I just didn't sleep. I deadass just like laid there and shivered and rolled around until the fucking morning time. And it fucked my sleep schedule for like up until like yesterday. Yesterday was the first day I had like a normal night of sleep. Like I got in, I went to the van, and I just knocked the fuck out until my alarm woke me up this morning. So I don't know. I haven't liked that it's been as cold as it's been. 140 viewers, pog. Okay, well. At Booksmarts, I believe in you. Also, he didn't mention it for some reason, but the new Patreon subscribers will get access to his OnlyFans. You know, you have to be at a really high tier to get the OnlyFans, right? You're like teasing these people who most certainly are not going to spend that money and are most certainly not going to get access to my OnlyFans. So it's kind of cringe. Marketing plus 100. Just subscribe with tier 1. Thanks for the subscription, Sacred Light. And I say, hi. Wrap up the intro, Nomi. Rage Pump is keeping me honest. Enough, brother. We need to get into the content. Booksmart, sub to my Patreon. Also, Booksmart doesn't link Patreon. Fuck. True. And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed. Yeah. There is no Patreon link on your Patreon page. True? I bet there isn't. It's free after the fact. I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high. Oh, wait, no, this is a different song. Whoops. I wake up in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high. That's the guy that sings like that, isn't it? LCTRFan versus IRI. Didn't you do this already? I did, dude. I had to delete the VOD because I doxed people, and now I don't have any way of getting it back. Do you live in a van? I'm sorry. Yeah, I do. It's kind of cold. Kind of pog, though. Hot water bottle is good memes. Yeah, maybe. I'm just going to go get my propane heater out of storage. One time, guys, hold up. I know that we keep going on tangents, but I almost like these tangents better. The vibrato is 10 out of 10. Yeah, that's because I got this whiny little bitch boy voice that I've had since I was little. And then when I hit puberty, I had this manly fucking testicular clump of, voice that revealed itself. And if I talk from the inside of my throat and make most of the sound there, the result is a voice that's completely different. In a casual debate with a friend, I don't know if you guys have ever tried this, but you'll find that a lot of the time you make all the noise for talking up here. If instead you make all of the noise for talking back here, you end up getting a much better voice, perhaps a deeper voice, but it requires the same amount of effort. Booksmarts. Wait, can't you get the VOD from the site that Devin Nash was talking about? I told you guys. Okay. If you're a part of the Discord, you know that I've asked for this. I want the Hacker Boys on my team. Hacker Boys, girls, and NBs. If you guys want, if everyone, gender neutral is hard. If y'all want to help me, you can help me by getting that VOD back, and then we don't have to do that. But what I'm going to do, if we can't, is just redo everything. So it's whatever. Can't reason someone out of a position they didn't. Yeah, okay. I see you got some viewers. Are you actually good at philosophy or just another pretty face? Well, I'm happy you think I'm a pretty face because I'm a pretty kick-ass philosopher, motherfucker. I'll put you in the dirt. I'll put you in the dirt, and then I'll explain to you why that's not the end of it, bro. I'll get you on some spirituality shit. I'll get you thinking that fucking we got free will and shit, bro. I'm a good-ass philosopher. That's my answer to you, Lothar. Watch out, bro. Don't be questioning my philosophy. Chad voice. Booksmart's the boss. Booksmart's the bass. Ooh. Only clips, not VOD. If you can get a better voice that way, then why don't you talk like that all the time? Fuck you! I don't think it's a better voice. I like my voice. If I spoke like this most of the time, the problem comes that I think it's fake. So. I'm a dude who really likes making voices. Okay, so I don't even know what my real voice is, all right? I don't know if my real voice is the fucking donkey voice. I don't know if my real voice is the fucking, is the deep voice. I don't know if my voice is maybe this one either. It really could be any of the above. I don't really know what my real voice is, bro. I've lost it. All I know is, like, I'm the only Tigger. I'm the only one, bro. That's all I know is I got all sorts of voices. Let's see. And this might sound crazy. Yeah, no, I'm not going to say it. At Booksmarts, have you even grounded your axioms, my dude? You don't need to. My axioms are fucking floating foundations of knowledge, dude. I can bring them with me anywhere. I don't need to ground them. They are grounded in and of themselves by virtue of existing. That's how good my axioms are, bro. I didn't mean to insult you, Books. No problem, dude. No problem, dude. What do you think about overpopulation? That's like a dangerous meme, isn't it? I'm gonna avoid talking about it. What does it mean for a voice to be real? I don't know. Your voice is the fucking Italian guy. Yeah, my guy. What? Throat voice equals vocal fry voice. Vocal fry voice. I can't do fry. And I pray. Oh my God, do I pray? Isn't your real voice the arguments you make along the way? Did you ever see the guy that talked about his grandmaster's teaching and shit? What? I have studied in the Tibetan hills many different types of philosophy. I am here to tell you about my grandmaster's teachings. I come down from the mountain bearing gifts of knowledge and intellect. Like, what? What do you mean grandmaster's teaching, bro? Wake the beast? I can't even do that dude's voice. Banned meme book smarts? Oh no. The Grandmaster is too powerful. Okay. I'm gonna go to Zanya's Pizza. Axiom 2, all of my axioms are grounded. Get you some Bosco 6 and cigarettes. Alright. How can your voice be real if your eyes aren't even real? True. I have glass eyes, dude. I can't see a goddamn thing. Low-key, I've just got TTS telling me all of your guys' stupid fucking comments in my ears. The Grandmaster's too powerful. But can you do a Genji voice? Ryuga waga teki o kurao! Isn't that what he says? I don't fucking know. Wow, I didn't know Book Smarts was a racist. What? What did I say that's racist? Oh, is it because I'm doing voices? You're like,
Book Smarts, if you can identify the different people speak in different ways and you choose to bring attention to that in some sort of comedic fashion, I think that you're essentially a fascist dictator, Trump-loving, copium-sucking imbecile.
okay, bro. Okay, bro. Whatever. I don't think accents are that big of a deal. Glass eyes, poggers. Yeah, bro, I'm like Mushishi. I got glass eyes. Mushishi's kind of fucking pog. Anybody see Mushishi? It's content time. Shit, you're right. Can you end the Trainwrecks impression and start the show? Fuck, you're right. Okay. Let me make sure that there aren't any last-minute Patreon notifications that I have to give. Ah, there is. Thank you to Polecat for subscribing on the Patreon. There, okay, I'm done. All right, let's go. 47-minute intro, by the way. Fuck off. You know, a lot of that I wasn't here for. A lot of that I was prepping the show for. So I'm just trying to catch up with my audience. That's all. That's all, guys. Here, let's find the video. I don't even have it up. That's how prepared I am. LCTRFan versus IRI.
Of course.
And I get in my hand and I get real high. Oh man. Do we want to do this or do we want to do Destiny? No, we can't. The title is Destiny versus LCTRFan. Hold on. Wait, no, not Destiny versus LCTRFan. Fuck, we need LCTRFan and IRI. What am I doing? I'm subliminally fucking... My orbit is now synced with Destiny. I'm fucking... The gravitational pull towards this content is so great. Oh shit, I'm really important. Let me find your channel, my dude. Hold on. I'm really important. Okay. Quick chat with lecture. That's what I'm looking for. And I come real high and I get real high. Oh, I gotta go grab my notes out of the van real quick. Hold up. I'll be right back. I have to go grab the notes. IRI is legit though too. Love is love. Destiny Orbiter Pog. BLM. Trump kills. Freudian slip. Uh-oh. What did I Freudian slip? Is LCTRFan actually not a troll though? I can't take him seriously. We'll talk about that. And I give you my head. Feeling spry. Do you review personal statements? Yeah, I do all sorts of stuff. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you DM me or you email me, booksmarts.twitch@gmail.com, I do tutoring and stuff and reviews and writing, and it's all done at a flat hourly rate of $25 US. So if you want any help, just reach out. Numerous people have gotten tutoring. Analyzing IRI's performance in Pretty Fly for a white guy? That's a million years old, dude. Old meme. Gender is fluid. You can tell from his singing. Yikes. That sounds kind of bad when I read those together. Okay, Booksmarts, can you analyze my Tinder convos? Hell yeah, bro. Can you teach me how to love? I'll get Kumiko in touch with you. She fakes it for me pretty well. Booksmarts, why are you in a garage? Because I'm poor. Sag. Because I'm poor, dude. That's why. Maybe I should transition that into a guilt trip for Patreon. Because I don't have enough patrons. If you too would like to live in a garage, give me all your money. Okay, let's shift over to full screen of memes here. Based and red pilled, emotional warfare engaged. Oh shit, hold on, let me make sure I'm not leaking anything. Okay, that's not leaking. That's fine. Is this leaking anything? Nope. Okay, we're fine. Based and van pilled. True. Make sure to plug your homelessness. I need to have some kind of like sub or donation goal that says house at the end of it or some shit. Okay, can you guys see this okay? Let me bring you up on my phone so that I could keep track of you. So that I can keep track of you guys. Wait, how do I do that? I can't, right? Because I'll only be able to watch bitch chat. Oh, man. Well, whatever. Bitch chat's now the real chat, because canonically, you're the only ones that live on my phone. I'll check in with the YouTube chat, but unfortunately, again, because I'm a poor piece of shit streamer, I only have fucking one monitor, so we're kind of on a one monitor setup here, boys. Ducker Z, get fucked, YouTube chat. Yikes. Yikes. I love you, YouTube chat, even if I can't read you. You know, Booksmarts, add a sub goal to get a new cardboard box every time it rains. I'm happy Rage Pope took a fucking liking to my content because I appreciate that motherfucker's chats more than most. Holy shit. YouTube chat, more like a megalo chat. Yeah, where is my YouTube chat? Guys! Guys! What the fuck? You're lacking. You're coming in here and you're lacking. 25 an hour? What? Where's my YouTube chat? Oh, wait, what does this say? Would you rather kill grandma or do literally nothing and save lives? And that's Chupacado. Chupacado's technically a Twitch chatter in fucking disguise. He's like me at that Trump rally, dude. He's playing both sides. Rip grandma. Right? That's what I'm saying. Kill grandma, bro. I don't need to know what the other option is. Fucking rip grandma. See ya, bitch. Now we have to get Rage Pope bad. No, don't try. Caught him lacking. No, you don't. Sag, we aren't good enough. No, it's Twitch. I mean, it's YouTube chat that's kind of lacking. All right. Let's get into this. So again, you can find this video on ImReallyImportant's YouTube channel. He is a political streamer who mostly covers the electoral side of politics. I feel pretty stupid to have to make the distinction that IRI covers electoral politics as if other kinds of politics are equally valuable or equally take you up the space. But on Twitch, it would appear that theory and entertainment are two like big categories of politics that I think a lot of debate or Twitch streamers kind of fall into. And unlike those two, he actually covers the boring stuff that like my grandma might watch, right? Like my grandma might watch C-SPAN and take all the viewer call-ins and, you know, absorb all that shit. My grandma might watch Fox News and CNN and all that shit live on television through her cable plan that she has paid up the ass for like 20 years. He covers that kind of stuff. And it may sound like I'm downplaying that, but that is the side of politics which I think is actually important. Because at least in this country, most of the people that vote, that is the extent of their knowledge. So somebody who is intimately familiar with the media channels that most of the country is using is going to have a better idea or a better finger on the pulse of what's going on with the American people. And there are times when the rest of Twitch politics will come up with some asinine fucking take on a topic, and then IRI will come in with kind of the voice of reason and tell it how it is and tell us that the average American is probably thinking this way. The average American would not be down for that. Based on what I've seen, the average American seems to be focused on X, Y, or Z. I don't think that A, B, and C are real big problems for them. It's not something they bring up. I think that is a good mediating influence on you. So if you're somebody that enjoys Twitch politics and you haven't checked out IRI, or you haven't given him a real good listen, whether that's on his VOD or live, I would greatly encourage you to, simply because he's giving a perspective that will be different and therefore will be valuable when compared to most of the other Twitch politics people. Beyond that, if you're a chatter that likes to engage with the streamer, he's very, very good at that. That's a core part of his show. And again, with this experience, with this knowledge, over the course of his lifetime, you can actually pick the brain of somebody who's been paying attention for a much longer time than a lot of the younger people like myself that may be on Twitch politics, right? So that's kind of an institutional memory or whatever that's really valuable. So I really like ImReallyImportant. We've also hung out together, which is worth mentioning, I guess, to know how to interpret my analysis. We were at that Trump rally with Destiny and Bose. So, yeah. Let me go ahead and catch up on Twitch chat, make sure I'm not missing anything. 1 hour intro. Fuck off, dude. It took forever to get the stream set up. Remember when Mike from CCP admitted they didn't talk about mutual aid or local organizing because that doesn't get enough viewers? You're trying to start shit, bro. You're trying to get me in trouble with people that are bigger than me. Stop. He's a dangerous fella. I don't want to get in an argument with Mike. Different opinions don't make them valuable. True, except I just explained why his thing is valuable. But I would say you're wrong, bro. You're wrong. Wrong. Rage, but biggest phony in Twitch chat. Used to be real good. Then he started losing. Book smarts, I don't know if I can trust your analysis. You seem pretty biased. You gave a giant short shout out to IRI and not for LCTRFan. I don't know if I can trust you. All right. You're damn tootin'. That's because I've been saving my energy, been wasting my time, but not my energy, not my heartfelt, sincerest testimonial for this here I'm really important. Fucking self-aggrandizing fuck. Goddamn got that all the way down to his fucking username, thinking he's all hot shit like every other goddamn leftist don't give a fuck about the country. Right? Let's talk about who humored this dumb fuck with the fucking conversation. Today he gonna be talking to LCTRFan. Now I tell you what, LCTRFan is a man who cares about God and cares about his country. All right? He done gone and held on to Trump through thick and thin, all right? It doesn't matter if that motherfucker been losing the election. Me personally, I'm feeling like a bit of a grifter. I'm ready for the next Republican candidate, whoever it might be, because I don't like losers. It seems to me that Donald J. Trump is a fucking loser, all right? Mishandled this whole goddamn thing. If he thinks it's so easy for the dumb fuck Democrats to rig the whole goddamn thing, why is it that he didn't just do that and secure us 4 more years of a great America? That's what I got to say, all right? We gave you all this power, all this prestige, and put you in this position. You really going to go out like that? Come on now. I don't believe in that, but LCTRFan's a good boy. Cares about this country. Cares about the people in it. Cares about the people of Montana. And, God bless him.
God bless him. That's what I gotta say. The man's been on the right side of history for long enough. He's been doing this political thing just as long as IRI has. Both of them been preaching the same thing. Do you think that LCTRFan is trolling? You think, oh, LCTRFan, big fucking goofy dumb fuck, believes in some stupid fucking shit, just copy paste whatever the fuck Donald J. Trump's posting on Twitter. You're missing the point. What you Democrats aren't used to is a solid, solidified body, all right? The Conservative Party is a group of individuals who can set aside personal creed for the betterment of this country. LCTRFan is one of but a large number of people in the conservative community touting conservative principles, all right? I love them. I love them to death. All right, till death do us part, but certainly not for two men, because that's not a part of the Republican Party platform. Whatever. Wait, this is his real voice. Oh shit, my real voice came out. I'm sorry. Anywho, yeah, I guess I did give him a very good intro. That's fine. I don't really know a ton about him. Oh shit. What's that an alert for? Wait. Oh, I don't even have alert box on here. Hold up. Hello, Booksmart. I think that you should. We missed it. Wait, what did your thing say? $10. Hold shit. Hold on. Oh no, I've robbed you of your thing. What is real even? I just want a picture of that goddamn hot dog. Okay. Let's just get into this. Without further ado, we've been fucking putting this off $10 fucking a month. Good God. Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot. Okay? That's about how much I've been giving to the Donald Trump campaign every month. Motherfuckers are wasting my money. If it's so easy to buy Russian bots, why don't we just buy up the whole field of them? Goddamn. Stupid fucking liberals fall for it. Why don't you just keep tricking them? Don't matter who's right. All right. Let's see. Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. Bubbles. Isn't that what he sounds like? He's like, he talks like this.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, man. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, to answer your question, I only saw like the last maybe 15 minutes.
All right, and we're playing this on 1.5. Okay, and I have my notes. Let's see. Let me find where it is in my notes real quick. I actually know that it's in this notebook in particular because I had to do some footage of it for the YouTube. Okay, let's see here. IRI. Okay. Questions seek perspective gaps. I want to say some things. Host left to other people to talk. Okay, cool. Let's see. LCTRFan's voice doesn't sit well with me. Well, that's because you don't like the voice of reason, because you got some crazy fucking voices in your head telling you to vote Democrat and fuck the country. That's what you got a problem with, L'Intrinsic. All right? Here's what he's doing. What am I doing?
Peace means we have less criminals. Isn't that what you want? No, you want less criminals with guns. You want more rapists. You want more muggers. You want more stabbings like we see in the UK. You want to put us in the UK? You want people driving up on fucking mopeds and fucking robbing you with a kitchen knife? Is that what you want?
Not the first time I've tried this voice. Not the first time I've had to delete a VOD for it either. But we'll see. We'll see. It's maybe a Patreon exclusive by tomorrow. Damn, older books was younger. Yeah.
Of you watching me, but I loved it. I thought it was great, and I figured I'd come on and talk about some of the things, at least that were at the end.
That was the biggest uh-oh of my life. Yeah, what the fuck? Everybody gets mad when I put on voices. It's so silly. That's the closest thing to representation you guys are getting, because you don't support when real Southern folk come on the platform and try to preach these same ideals. You guys have to pretend like I believe in some leftist bullshit 90% of the time to be okay with that 10% that I'm playing a character. What the fuck is wrong with that? That's as much representation as you're getting from that side of the aisle when you just want to troll and pretend like everybody who is a conservative on Twitch is, making it up. They're grifting. They don't believe it. They're a troll. They must be from Russia. All right, you keep making up shit like that. This is the closest you gonna get to a real conservative, to a real Southern man on here. Okay, you keep shooting down and shitting on everybody with an accent and so on and so forth. This is the most you're gonna get. That's the problem right there.
So yeah, my overall thing was, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you are saying you don't trust the polls, that that's based off what happened in 2016, and also you're just saying, you also made a point, I don't know how much weight you...
I'm gonna love this with hindsight. This is like a whole different analysis with hindsight, isn't it?
Give it, but you basically said, I don't know anybody who voted for Trump in 2016 that switched parties, right?
Right. So and then everybody acting like, oh, that's not a good reason to believe that. That's not enough. You should actually rely on facts and data. It's like there's also all kinds of facts and data and polling points and data points and all sorts of other things that go along that make it to be consistent. Like when I say that, I was like, that's an anecdotally, like one of the
people tell me listen to evidence. What the fuck's up with that? If I go around looking for evidence and I want to believe a particular thing, I done find all this evidence supporting the idea of that thing. So what the fuck worth is evidence if I can just find whatever I want, support whatever position I want? Well, there's some integrity that you want to take when you're researching something. Generally, you don't want to find research to prove a certain thing. You kind of want to do an overview of what's available, and then, based on the common consensus, that's going one way. If you want to look for a dissenting opinion versus that, you can do that after you've weighed out the merits of why, people think what they currently think. Why is the majority thinking this thing? And then you'll compare those reasons with reasons from the dissenting opinion, right? And then based on the comparison between the consensus and the dissenting opinion, you can make a decision as to which side of that you're going to believe. And even if you do end up erring on the side of the common belief, you can still hold in your mind maybe a 20 to 40% this could be wrong. And the reason why I'm doing a serious intercuts is because I want to help you guys with research stuff. So when you're researching, don't be a lecture fan. Don't look for things that particularly support a position. Try to see what things are being said broadly. And if that doesn't mesh with your worldview, like it won't for lecture fan, maybe he looks broadly and he's like, what the fuck? It seems to be that everybody said Trump's going to win, but I know that's not the truth. I know everybody in Montana doesn't love Trump, and I can't imagine that we don't have the rest of the country is loving this God-loving motherfucker. If you really think that maybe they're wrong, you have to find out why that is. And usually the way I would find out why that is through the dissenting opinion of people more educated than myself. And then I kind of weigh out those two things. So if I'm doing research into psychology, for example, this happens all the time. As a matter of fact, this happened in a tutoring session that I had a few days ago with a student who came through Twitch. We were doing research on a topic and we were looking at meta-analyses, and I'm like, hey, look, isn't it weird that they have this line here that says there is no evidence to support that there's any negative effect of this kind of learning? Isn't that strange? That's a bit of a red flag. And so then I showed him, if we were to look for dissenting opinions against this, how are we going to weigh those out versus the totality of what people currently believe? Well, we're going to have to see specifically what are they dissenting against, and then we have to measure it only in that regard. And then after that, after we've gone, okay, so the dissenting opinion thinks X, Y, and Z for this reason. So maybe they think the polls are wrong here specifically because in Montana there are more people that are hanging up compared to usual or some shit like that. Let's say they give a reason. Well, then you have a reason for that very, very specific place. So in Montana specifically, there is a researcher specifically who says specifically that we might not be able to count them because people hang up. Okay? And that can cover only so much of the general consensus, right? That only covers in Montana on the phone for maybe the polls that this person commented on. And then if you're able to find that person's opinion, like I look up, do people hang up the phone a lot of the time on these? And like I figure out that that's a problem that other researchers across the country are saying for other states, then I can expand that beyond just like this specific case for these specific polls in Montana specifically, right? I don't ever want to generalize that unless I can find evidence for it. So I can't say, well, Montana, they've been saying that people are hanging up the phone more often than they usually do. So if that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and take a 20% margin there on that there poll. Go ahead and extrapolate that across all the states and all the country. Like, you can't do that. That if there's evidence to support that in other states, then of course, like if you're like, well, in Montana and Texas and Georgia and here, the phone is a problem in all these places. And if it's a problem in like fucking 15 states, and I can't come up with any other reason why it would only be those 15 states, then maybe it's okay to extrapolate. Then maybe it's okay to say, hey, I think that we're having this problem with people hanging up because we've seen it in Georgia, we've seen it in Montana, we've seen it in blah, 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 and I don't think it's like too much of a leap to say that this is probably a problem that's happening across all the states, though we're not looking in all the states to see it. Then that's more convincing. But if you tell me, I think that this is a problem that's happening in every state, here's a research study that says in Montana, in, who gives a fuck county, the people are hanging up way quicker than they done normally do. Like, then you have to be careful. You have to be careful with shit like that. So the totality of the evidence that you're using to like reach a conclusion should in part determine like how seriously you take that conclusion, right? There should be a proportional amount of evidence. So try to keep this in mind throughout this. So if LCTRFan is going to attack something that IRI is bringing up, remember that oftentimes IRI is representing a totality of things. And if he's not, also note that. So if IRI says, well, Nat Silver says that in blah, 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 we're actually going to see X, Y, and Z. Like, okay, well, I don't give a fuck who Nash Silver is or what the fuck they think about this one thing. Like, who else is saying what about that? Like, where is Nash Silver or whoever the fuck getting all this info from? I know it's Nate Silver. I'm like fucking with you guys. But like, if he says only something specific, that's the same thing. There should be the same red flag there to like, okay, but do we see this represented beyond that, right? We need more than that. We need more than this one dude who's saying this one thing. We need this to be a consensus. It's reflected in other things I can look up and other things I could cite. And that's how we're going to like generally have an idea of what the consensus is. Let's see here. Boots mask off about his Southern heritage. Oh, shit. Not a Montana accent. Yes, very true, is not a Montana accent. LCTRFan is from Montana or Wyoming, not the South. I know that! Another liberal not knowing cardinal directions. Funny nevertheless. Yeah, I guess. I don't think he's from there. Motivated reasoning? That sounds like fake news to me, brother. I have my own set of alternative facts. Maybe it's just me, but you're a tad louder than the vid.
The chase. Drawing your own conclusions is the chase.
The video is just kind of really quiet. Oops, that's not what I want. Let's open up my mixer here. Because unless Chrome is turned down... Wait, where is Chrome? Chrome? Hello? Chrome's not even in my speakers.
Things I do think that we owe it to ourselves to do is to look at the world in common sense and our own understanding and our own experiences and factor that in. And then when you have Trafalgar,
no, don't listen to that shit. Don't with this common sense shit. Ignore that. Put that out of your brain. That's some dumb ideas. All right. Well, I guess it is turned down a little bit.
Showing and I've read a bunch of interviews with Robert.
Okay, thank you for the subscription for Twitch Prime. Let's see. K-Kona, the Nashville, Nate Silver. How do you learn how to research? How do you know what journals you can trust or what studies you can trust? Often, it's much easier to, instead of asking, Booksmarts, how do I know if I can trust his journal? Instead, I would say, how much is what that journal is saying reflected in other things that you could read, right? That, like, the only time we need to really bring into question in individual sources like legitimacy is when that individual source is making a claim that we cannot find in other sources. This is another thing that we kind of went through in that tutoring session about research is, that which is right, like the thread of truth as we're hanging on to it, as little monkeys trying to understand the world, that thread of truth will run through all of the papers that you read. So if I'm reading one paper and I'm like, this paper says that this method of polling is really, really good, but how do I know I can trust this source, book smarts? Well, the trick is that you want to make sure that that's something other sources say as well. If you have 20 sources that are all agreeing on this for different reasons, for their own personal applications of their own study, and they're all agreeing that, like, hey, XYZ is this way, I'd say that that's where you should look. Now, if they're the only ones claiming something, so they're like, hey, here's a bit of an industry secret, but our polling method is fucking the shit, dude. Our polling method is good as fuck. And then I go, okay, let me look up XYZ polling method. Oh, nobody says anything. And what few things there are out there are like calling into question the validity of the thing. Then all of a sudden, it doesn't matter if this shit was posted in fucking Nature or whatever the fuck. I don't care necessarily about what the source is saying because A, it's not substantiated by any other sources, and B, what sources are mentioning it seem to be throwing like, some murkiness on it. So I would prefer not to use that or like to write it into my brain too strongly. So that's what I would say. A lot of it's based on feels and shit, funnily enough. K. Kona, but there's all sorts of articles saying Corona's a myth, book smarts. Why wouldn't I just believe that? I mean, if they make a substantial enough argument and they prove everything else wrong, like if they're like, hey, you're talking about antibodies and shit, but we actually did testing and there are no antibodies, so like what's up with this? And like if they bring up shit that is actually like questioning what exists now, then yeah, maybe that is worth questioning. Remember, the coronavirus is like a new thing. Here's something I had to change my mind on that you guys are going to be mad about. I think that for the most part, most kids should be able to go back to school right now. Now, book smarts, what the fuck? You want to kill our fucking kids and by proxy kill their grandparents and yada yada? No. It's because the research that we have out now doesn't seem to suggest that school is any more dangerous than any other number of things that people are doing, from working to fucking going around outside to going to a restaurant. It doesn't seem to be that much more dangerous. Though you would think you go, well, common sense, book smarts, you're a fucking idiot. If they go to school and they're around kids all the time, those dirty motherfuckers are touching and sneezing and queefing. They're doing all sorts of things, bruh. They're going to be swapping all sorts of bodily fluids and getting each other sick. This is preposterous, absurd idea that schools are just as dangerous as anywhere else. I'll tell you what, you didn't go to school in the rural South. I'll tell you, I got up to all sorts of naughtiness. There were lots of cooties spreading. I'll tell you, if there was something to be caught, I was catching it. All right. You could tell me that, that's fine, but we don't have data to support that. Every time I look into it, there's nothing telling me that school is any bit more dangerous than anywhere else. And the anywhere else seems to be more or less okay. So, as long as everybody's wearing masks and we're following procedures and we scan people, it doesn't seem to be all that big of a deal to just send the kids back to school. Things like this, you have to kind of accept that, like, common sense isn't always going to give you answers that are correct, right? The correctness comes from like all of the monkeys across the entire world observing data and processing it and then sharing their results. And when everybody is sharing results that are pointing to like, well, schools don't appear to be all that much more dangerous compared to anything else, then the calculus becomes different in your head. Then you need to shift gears as if you would any other problem. So, okay. Assuming schools aren't as dangerous or aren't any more dangerous than any other like of these situations, then what? Well, then we need to weigh opportunity costs, right? So if we shut all the schools down, what is the cost? Well, it's quite large, and we know this cost. You can go read studies about when schools closed and how that had impacts on everything from your academic opportunities to your occupational opportunities as you grew up, and how like little outages in schools can have negative impacts on people's economic prosperity and a million other things. Like, we know for sure not sending kids to school has negative impacts, and we've measured those. We got them down. So we know on the one side of the equation of the arithmetic what the negative is. Now, there's the negative of coronavirus, right? But that negative, as I've said, through our studies, doesn't seem to be all that much worse compared to anything else. And so it's like, okay, but what are we saving by not sending them to school. Like, well, okay, well, as I said, on the flip side, it's not any more risky than most other things. And if that's the case, then I guess it's just as risky as any other thing. And if it's just as risky as any other thing, I have to compare what we're saving in terms of risk to like what we are actually risking in terms of harm to students from not going to school. And when I weigh these two things out, it's bad. And then we have a middle choice, right? We have like, well, what about distance learning? Again, distance learning is something where we know it has a very bad effect on students, right? On their performance. Again, we have less so on like their future opportunities and how it impacts that because it is still fairly new. So you don't have the long-term consequences you have with just stopping school in general. But if we're on anecdote Andy common sense levels, like I would say that you can say common sense wise that it's going to be tougher for students to do the distance learning. The parents aren't equipped for it. The students aren't equipped for it. The teachers aren't equipped for it. We've been having a tough time with those rollouts. So, you know, I don't know. It depends on, I guess, where you invite common sense in and stuff, but try to base everything around the data and fill in what gaps you don't have with common sense. But when there's a gap that can be filled with data and with the collective experience of humankind, you kind of fitting in your common sense in place of that is stupid. You should only use the common sense when you don't have an answer. You know, like, in general, do I choose personally to send my kids to school or keep them home? Well, that is a thing that I have to make with common sense based on what I've learned, based on what are the scientists saying, what's left up to chance, what do I have to make decisions on, and then I have to make those decisions in an educated fashion, right? Here, let me catch up with this. I'm kind of going on a bit of a rant here. It looks like he has the volume extension in the top left, just isn't using it. What do you mean? Use Firefox instead. Wait, what do you mean? Top left. Then why not have a chat with LCTRFan? I don't care to talk to LCTRFan. I thought the conservatives were all about facts over feelings. What is lecture on about? Copium, bro. That's what he's on. Then why not have it? Okay, I believe to stop COVID, we must drop kick every baby on site. Maybe. Wait, just joined and we're talking about kids going to school and queefing? Isn't that mostly a problem because kids aren't going to be responsible enough to pay precautions necessary? Maybe. But again, this is where you start making things up, Dogan. Like, that's the problem is like you would think that, but we don't have evidence for that, right? That's the difficult thing is you can go, well, you know, this is where you want to find a researcher that's saying this. So is there any researcher that says like, well, actually, all of these studies that we do have on the effects of COVID on the kids don't take into account that the kids only follow procedures XYZ amount enough, right? But you don't even have the XYZ amount that kids normally deviate from procedure, right? Because we don't have that. And that's what I'm saying. That's what makes the should kids go back to school thing more difficult than you may initially assume, is there just isn't data. We don't have answers to these things. It's difficult. It's still very murky. So to fill in those gaps with common sense, we want to be very careful. Let's not fill in numbers with common sense. Can I touch your hair? Yeah, if you can reach. I mean, I would agree with you if we had a different amount of people who have COVID. It's pretty much uncontrollably spreading in every state. Right, and if that's the case, right, like this kind of common sense can just as easily go in the other direction. So if COVID is already ripping through the entire state, and that's happening no matter what, and schools are just as likely to spread COVID as anywhere else, then that could easily just as much push us to like maybe then we should just have school like normal. Because if we can't curb this through the other methods that we're trying, and we assume that we can't curb it through school, then we may as well have school and accept that and then have all the benefits of having kids go to school and none of the consequences of them not, right? Because we have very real tangible costs for kids not going to school. And that's what makes this difficult is we don't have a good understanding of what the negatives are for them going, but we sure as shit have a very good understanding for what it means to keep them home. And that's what makes that decision more difficult for me personally. Hey, chat, what is the command to get contact options for this delightful young man? ! Email. Then you're a spineless chicken shit coward. All right. Sorry, I meant top right. I see the volume extension icon. People were complaining the volume was low. I don't think there is a volume extension thing. This?
Oh, I didn't even know this was a thing. I don't think this does anything. This just lets me pause and play.
Haley, Robert K.
There's no other options here. It's all on Max, guys. His video is just super quiet. Let's see here. Thanks for all the follows, guys. K Kona, the evidence is kids are dumb as shit. K Kona, evidence our kids are dumb as fuck. They're dumber than rocks. It's okay. He lives rent free in your low T level head. What? Are we concerned about COVID brain damage on kids while they're we don't know this shit though. That's what I'm saying. You're substituting limited information for these crazy nasty effects that we just don't have evidence for. And I could just as easily substitute that with some awful stories about how kids missed an entire year of school and gave up and become hippies and fucking don't learn anything, right? We can both make up like fantastical stories for what's going to happen to kids, but I try to operate differently than that. I am all for turning children into biological weapons, but wouldn't it just be more effective to give it to the elderly directly? Again, you guys want to meme about that. I'm just trying to be open, honest, and helpful to you. This is like a real-world application of research where I see that a lot of the people who want to tout being like facts and logic, and boy, I wish the conservatives would listen to studies, these are the same people who I see touting shit that they know nothing about, that isn't reflected in the data, and then are very, very resistant to like any idea that might be different from like the world map that they've made up in their head, right? Like, what do you mean there isn't evidence to suggest that children are going to be harmed by COVID-19? I guess I'm using the wrong voice. I should have some kind of like Karen voice, but you know, you guys don't have evidence to support the bullshit that you're coming up with. You're just as bad as the Republicans if that's going to be your approach to it. Let's try to actually make decisions based on what the science tells us, as we've tried to say that the Republicans should do for so long. Like, let's also do that as well, right? This is something from the beginning that I think has been worth mentioning, but like, unfortunately, the Republicans are kind of hitting the right note by saying that this isn't as bad as it's being made out to be. And that's unfortunately from a lot of people in the populace and politicians alike, like overselling what this thing is, overselling the impacts it has, overselling how it spreads, overselling the wrong things, right? Like, I find way more frightening and way more supported by data, the idea that this could get into a rural community, go into an animal, transition or transform into something that we don't have any kind of treatment for, and then we have to fight a whole new disease, basically, because we don't have treatment options for it. That's the kind of shit that I'm afraid of. And you increase the roll of the dice of that transitioning to something else or getting somewhere else with every time you have a new infection, with every time the influence and spread of that virus is getting larger. And that's something we can support with data. That's a terrifying thing that we can support with data. We can look to Europe right now, who's having to kill a bunch of fucking minks because it got into a mink population. And we had at least a handful of like cases that were of this like non-treatable variety that came from the minks. So like shit like that. And then the economic disaster that comes from having to cull a bunch of animals. And the like unfortunate unlikelihood that farmers would even follow these demands, and the difficulty with trying to get them to follow those demands should that happen in the United States. Things like this are terrifying to me, right? It's terrifying to me that this thing could get worse, could become more effective against people, and we've proven that even when we had a chance when it wasn't as big of a deal, we weren't able to lock down or follow procedure. So if there were to be something even worse than SARS-CoV-2 that happens tomorrow and sweeps the globe, or a mutation of it that's more difficult to treat, maybe even does more shitty things to the human body, like we won't be able to handle that because we couldn't handle this. This was like, you know, a fucking practice round. Like you're saying 1% fatality rate, whatever for this. Well, what happens when we have one that's 5%, right? You're not going to treat it any differently. You're going to be just as the same of kind of dumb fuck that's like, oh, it's only 5%, you know, 5% I could do without, you know, 5% of the U.S. population. No, I'm saying we could use a lot less fucking liberals. You know, if that's your fucking opinion, that applies whether it's 1% or 5%. You didn't really pin it on the percentage. You pinned it on like some vague notion of like, you know, not too bad for me. Doesn't sound too bad to me.
you know? So I don't know. This is like a problem of both like left and right people. Like, guys, just be serious about following what the fucking data says. And when, yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know, bro. It's so rough to be a research person. And that's the thing is, like, I'm friendly with all you lefty people, but you're just as bad as the Republicans with data and shit. Like, you have an idea of how the world works and how it exists, and you just try to find stuff to support it. So I don't know. Oh, I was looking at IRI's web browser. Okay. Let's see. Not hippies. Not hippies. Destiny said himself, COVID gives brain damage. Articles don't give numbers, and that they could really be like 0.001% of the most severe cases. Yes. Oh, thank God that fucking Steven's talking about that. Holy fuck. If he caught that shit, I don't, like, if he caught the dumbassery that some other people have, it'd be fucking terrifying. Booksmarts, isn't this just trying to be Bayesian? I don't use your fucking dumb fuck terms, bro. I'm not talking in terms of Bayesian analysis. Get out of here. K. Kona, if you had kids like I don't, then you'd understand how I understand it. If you didn't have kids, if you didn't have those thumb-sucking fucking freeloaders, okay, maybe you'd be a little less sympathetic. Last time I checked, what have kids done for this fucking country? Not a goddamn thing. We ain't have... What happened to the youth vote, Bernie? Huh? I thought you Democrats would have learned by now that you ain't getting nothing out of the youth. Only thing you can get out of them is more case numbers so you can pretend like this fucking Wuhan flu is worse than it is. Okay, Kona. Oh, shit. Damn, the heavy shade from the bookstore. Wait. Oh, never mind. He cleared it up. Okay. Let's continue with this.
Haley's the guy that runs Trafalgar. He was like this little known pollster ever before 2016, and since 2016, because he was the only one that got it right, he's like now like that's mostly what he does is polling, and he's made a huge business out of it. And he is the one that talks about.
Okay, so look at this right here. All right, I'll turn off the voice. So look at how, and we're taking a completely different approach to the analysis this time. Let's talk about research. Look at how LCTRFan uses stats here. So IRI is sitting here in front of 538. Okay, so he's got one source. Okay. Do I think that IRI is prepared to use other sources? Probably. Do I think LCTRFan is prepared to use other sources? Probably. But let's go ahead and note what's happening here. So in response to the overwhelming poll numbers from various institutions that are predicting that Biden is going to win, what does LCTRFan say? Well, last year, one guy got it right. Okay. And now this year, that one guy that got it right while everybody else got it wrong, he's saying that it's going to happen this way, okay? And he was right last time. Now, we don't have any other information. We don't have, hey, let me tell you about the fucking patron saint of polls. This dude has been guessing it right since fucking the Clintons, all right? And everybody's been sleeping on him. But after Donald Trump's election, now they've started paying attention. This is all of a sudden a very different ethos claim than what he just said. What he just said doesn't have any information about any elections previously, just this guy got it right last year when nobody else got it right. Okay, that's the only info that we have. We don't have, he was Super Saiyan Poll Master who got it all the way before then. We don't have that info. It's just he got this right last year.
The social bias effect and how Trump voters are very hard to even get on the phone. It's very hard to actually do a long poll, 30-minute poll, 40-minute poll, these traditional polling organizations do. And he does sort of like an alternative method. And I'm sure that's the same reason why 538 gives him a C rating or whatever, because he has a different methodology. He does a completely different methodology, and he actually asks people like, who do you think your neighbor's going to vote for? And then they factor that into it. And when you ask your neighbor, like, who do you think your neighbor is going to vote for? The person's going to be more likely to say Trump.
Now, and notice that through this entire claim, what would help me is if LCTRFan starts referencing other large polling organizations that are also giving some kind of credence to this methodology, right? So if he says, yeah, I understand the 538's got him at a fucking C rating, but you have to understand that these other polling institutions find a lot of value in some of the bits of his methodology that have become popular over the last like couple of years. For instance, he has a question asking people about neighbors and stuff, and those neighbor questions are actually something that we now see reflected on some of the other polls, from today or something like that. Then it's like, oh, okay. I'm going to take this change in methodology seriously. Other people are using it. Notice how we're constantly tempering what we should be taking out of this with what other people are believing. In my conversation with Steven on the topic of like where we get our ideas from, we have almost opposite ways of processing information. Steven likes to think about things in terms of, could I come up with this on my own, sitting on an island by myself with unlimited amounts of time and information? And I try to think of, what is the general consensus of all of the monkeys across the planet, and then I try to work out from there. I try to work from like a top-down thing where he tries to work from bottom up, right? So I try to think, how is everybody in the world figuring this out? Who are the dissenting opinions on that? What are the dissenting opinions say? And then I have to determine which of the dissenting opinions seem like they're getting at like what may be a flaw in the system. And then I use that to keep in check my basic belief of the system that everybody else is using. Most of the time, that system is pretty good. In a few different fields, it's not very good, right? In psychology, I would say that that general understanding is very shaky. Sociology, that general understanding is very shaky. Let's see, what would another one be? Education, I would say that's still kind of shaky. We're still shaky on that, but that's because I think education relies on psychology. The more we learn about the brain and the way that people think, the better we will be at educating those brains, right? We have to understand the human brain better to kind of understand how we can use that and hack that and make it better through education. So I think one relies on the other. If the other is still shitty, education is going to be shitty. Unless, of course, education has a giant, like, discovery that has implications for psychology. But ultimately, I think these two things are pinned with where they could, how far they could advance and get closer to truth. I would also say economics is something where, like, a lot of it could be considered super shaky. Like, you want to be careful with economics. Economics is another field where you'll see a lot of big dissenting opinions, all of which seem to be like pointing at something that's worthwhile. And you really have to be an economist to be able to weigh all that out. And much the same way that it helps to have a background in psychology when you're evaluating, psychology stuff. So if somebody has a dissenting opinion and they're saying, hey, I know that you've said this here, but I don't think that's correct. And I don't think it's correct because we have a study from the 70s, from the 80s, from the 90s, from the 2000s, all of which seem to indicate that there's a different mechanism for this part of human behavior. If they say that, then it's like, oh, okay, cool. Let me go ahead and read those. And like, oh, okay, yeah, these all do seem to be pointing at a behavior that's distinctive from what they're describing in the initial study, right? That's how you're checking everything. I've gotten off on a tangent. I don't even know why we're here. No, keep the voice, strong evidence, go all in. Wait, just so we're clear, the virus kills people and we cannot prevent this through medicine. Why isn't that enough for some people? Because you have to weigh that against other things that you're paying out, right? This isn't just like there's no cost, we may as well shut down. Like, there are costs to shutting down that we understand perhaps more than we understand what the impacts of the virus are at that large of a level. That's what the problem is, Genshin Treasure Hound. Genshin Treasure Hound. I love your accents. You're truly a treasure. Thanks, brother. K-Kona, brother, he got the last coin flip. How the hell could he get it wrong this time? Isn't it unfair to just pick the fields you trust the mainstream opinions and the ones you don't? You're misunderstanding the purpose of that. So my background is in graduate writing, so I help graduate students write their papers. So I'm just speaking on fields that I know about, right? I'm saying psychology is shaky, sociology is shaky. These are two fields that are shaky. I would say that this poll shit, after that 2016, it seems like we need to figure out some new shit with the polls. I would be okay with dissenting opinions more than I would normally. I would have my ears open to things that are wrong more than I would normally because the field is failing to predict what's actually happening, right? If all those polls were so wrong last year, there is clearly a problem in how they're measuring what is right, okay? But what that problem is still a big-ass question mark. It could be any number of things. Because we weren't able to predict it, we don't seem to be able to, predict what was wrong with it. And given a lot of these places are taking the same approach to polling this time around, as far as I understand it, I think it is worthy of criticism, but that criticism has to be like warranted. Like we have to actually have good reasons for why that criticism is the way that it is, and that should be backed up by other groups of people who have tested that criticism out and who are like, yeah, actually, this crazy dude who got who got it last time, he seems to be on to something because when we pulled this and then we saw an election happen in XYZ, we actually found that like we got way closer to the result into predicting the behavior of Republican voters by implementing the things that this person is coming up with. If that was the case, then it's like, oh, that's cool, rad, dope. Like, let's keep building on that for sure. But if it's still one dude and there's nothing but dissenting opinions against his, then it's difficult to take him seriously. It is very difficult. Here, let's see. Sorry, I'm Elderock. I changed my name to match some streamers I hop onto. Oh, okay, cool. Aren't all human or social sciences shaky in terms of prediction? Not all of them, no. I would say that the medical field is really good at a lot of different parts, like how the heart functions or functions of your gastrointestinal system we understand pretty well. Granted, there's still a ton there Thanks for the follow. Granted, there's still a ton there that we could learn about, but I don't think that they're as far behind, I would say, as psychology is. I think psychology, we're still kind of like pulling at straws, unfortunately, in a way that I don't think other fields are. And sociology, kind of by definition, is sort of pulling at straws, but that's kind of a hot take.
Then if they say, who you going to vote for? Oh, I'm going to vote for Trump. And then they don't know if it's anonymous. They don't know if it's going to get out public that they support Trump. They don't want to have to deal with being viciously attacked. And so you call it the shy Trump voter. I mean, you call it social bias effect. But Trafalgar got it right. Plus, you look at the enthusiasm gap. Trump enthusiasm is off the charts. Still having huge, look at the rally numbers. Look at how many people are showing up to a Trump rally versus look at how many people are showing up to a Joe Biden rally. Look at sort of shock polls here and there where you'll see Trump with 30 to 40%.
So, oh man, is it even worth summarizing all the points he gives?
Trafalgar got it right. Plus, you look at the enthusiasm gap.
So we have Trafalgar, that's one point.
Trump enthusiasm is off the charts.
Trump enthusiasm is off the charts.
Still having huge, look at the rally numbers. Look at how many people are showing up.
And that probably connects to the rally numbers, probably why he thinks Trump support is off the charts. Look at all the people going to his rallies compared to sleepy, tired old Joe.
The Trump rally versus look at how many people are showing up to a Joe Biden rally. Look at sort of shock polls here and there where you'll see Trump with 30 to 40% approval rating amongst African Americans and Latinos. I mean, you look at all these different data points, and I think it leads to believe that, like, look, Trump is winning this. He's going to win.
Well, I could see in 2016 that people may not want to say they're voting for Trump because there were a lot of like senators and elected officials saying that this guy, there's no way, man. There's a lot of never Trumpers in 2016 who were speaking up, and so I could see how you would want to take a position on that, right? I mean, this is when the Access Hollywood tape was just blowing up and stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like that's not as applicable now because it's not as bad to say you support Trump. Do you think that's incorrect? Do you think it's worse now to say you support Trump than in 2016?
No, I think that's a good point. I think you make a great point. I think it's true what you're saying, and I think yes, absolutely, that's an impact on it. But I think like the counterweight to that would be like the cancel culture, the leftist cancel culture, the big tech censorship against conservatives, people getting fired, people losing their jobs is much bigger. And so while
let's talk about that big tech censorship for just 2 seconds because I feel like that might be interesting. I have a difficult time with this. I think it is kind of fucked that we can like get rid of politicians on these social media platforms and stuff, but at the same time, I think there's got to be some rules across all the platforms that relate to politicians in specific. Like I agree that politicians are like a different class of people in terms of the standards they should be held to in a public setting. So like in much the same way that I think we should hold a politician's feet to the fire if they go out in a public square and go, oh, Obama is a fake fucking president. He's fucking taking us and doing X, Y, and Z. Coronavirus isn't real, blah, blah, blah. And you start shouting some crazy fake shit in the town square and you're a politician. I think you should get in trouble for that. I think you're doing a harm to people for sure. And I think in the modern age where information is so difficult to parse and people are still kind of getting up to speed with that, I think that there should be legislation to like make sure that you of all people as a politician, as a person in power, have an obligation to like stick to truth and stuff like that. And I think that should apply to a public square. Like if you go to a rally and you tell people shit that's not true, I think you should be in trouble or fined or something. To the same extent that I think you should be in trouble on social media. Like if you choose to pull out an attack ad that says some shit that's not true, you can get in trouble for it. In much the same way, I think if you go on a social media platform and say a bunch of shit that's not true, I do think there should be repercussions for that. I think there should be repercussions if you go out to a rally in D.C. and scream a bunch of shit that's not true. Same there. So maybe I'm in a minority in that I think this should apply regardless of those scenarios. I think politicians or prospective politicians should be held to a different standard. And I think in the information age where we're not able to challenge this stuff like nearly enough or nearly well enough, there is the worry that you could manipulate the American people into believing shit that's just not true. Foreign governments seem to have had a fun time in the last 8 years doing that to us. And I've talked before on this show about how I personally have experience with that. During my time living in Thailand, I was reached out to by some Russian folks that wanted help with a bot. And again, I have an NDA, so I'm just trying to be careful. But essentially, they had a bot that was using some AI to go on Twitter and make very convincing posts. And they had everything taken care of in terms of like most of the talking points and what needed to be said, but they needed some example posts to help iron out the grammar and stuff for this bot. And they wanted somebody who was essentially like an editor of sorts to kind of rank the different iterations of that AI. So to help them kind of pick what the best like algorithm or whatever was. So I would have to look at giant groups of these posts, and I would have to A, make corrections to them, and then B, grade them, sometimes individually, sometimes as a group, and then those grades would be fed back into the system to try and pick out what's producing like the most convincing people. Now, I didn't end up taking this like very far at all. I didn't really like end up working for these people, but it terrified me to the point where I didn't feel like I could use Twitter anymore very seriously, because though they said they needed help with like refining it, I would say it was like pretty refined already, and it passed my Turing test. And if they already had a way of getting the profile pictures and making them convincing and making the profiles convincing, I thought they were already where they needed to be. And then Trump came into power, so it's like, you know, so I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in that stuff, and I think that's a huge problem that we need to handle, and we're not handling it. So at the very least, we can hold the politicians themselves accountable. We can't stop all the bots and stuff. We can't stop all the individual people, but if people are already swimming in a sea of disinformation, the last thing they need is like a beacon of disinformation in way of politicians that are saying things that aren't truthful. So I don't know. I don't know. That's my take on that. Trump's Twitter is a huge pool of falsehoods. How do we resolve that? I don't know. I think he needs to not have access to that platform. Why should he have access to that platform same as anybody else if he chooses to misuse it? I think the biggest problem is that Twitter could be in a position where they ban Donald J. Trump and he's still allowed on Facebook and on Instagram and on Patreon and on Twitter and on TikTok. I think there needs to be some kind of legislation that goes across all the digital platforms and perhaps like every kind of publisher or whatever, and lays out some like ground rules for politicians, particularly during the election season. Like if the UK can ban political ads like in the days leading up to an election, or severely limit the campaign's spending on those things, then I think America is capable of working out a system where we can limit like what they're saying or impose fines for breaking that. And if you have fines for every instance of breaking that, and you paid for an ad campaign that said shit that wasn't true to like 20,000 people or whatever in a swing state, like I think there should be problems. I think that state should even be able to pursue you, to pursue a case against you for fucking with their election inside of their state. Like if you launched a whole ad campaign for people in Wisconsin in one particular town to change their vote, and you were like, fuck it, I'll pay the fine, I'll fucking lie in my ads. I think more than just like at a federal level you should be in trouble. I think that state should be able to go after you for damages because you undermine their electoral process, and you costed who knows how much money from the taxpayers by defrauding their election. So
I wish we would take that more seriously, but I don't see us doing that in this country until we have like a representative who runs under a campaign of like, hey guys, isn't it fucked that we're all lying and stuff? Isn't it like, it needs to be somebody who understands the way the internet works and stuff. But I think if there was like an action group or a bunch of politicians who wanted to push reform like that, I would go out and knock on doors about that. Because I think whether you're Republican or Democrat, you don't want to be lied to about shit. Like, you don't want dumb fuck Democrats telling you that, like, 20% of all people fucking die from COVID and they have scarred lungs and they're fucking brain dead, you know, whatever, people. You don't want that going around. In much the same way, I don't want people saying that COVID is essentially a flu and doesn't hurt nobody and there's not really any deaths and they're all miscategorized. And, you know, I equally don't want either of those forms of misinformation. And I think if these platforms aren't able to, you know, manage that content in that way, they can't be publishers, they can't be editors, whatever, then it sounds like we need some laws, because otherwise they're just like a breeding ground for misinformation, because misinformation is much more fun than information and it creates more engagement. So, you know, there's necessarily always more engagement when you have to argue with something than when you want to agree with it. And that's part of what breeds misinformation, is because you not only get the clicks and the comments from people who agree with it, but you get clicks and comments from people who vehemently disagree with it. And that benefits that in the same way as it would if all those people had agreed with it and retweeted it and shit. So, oh boy, what a big rant. I'm like running out of steam already. Wait, how long have we been streaming? We're fucking 4 minutes into this. I don't think I've said anything about these two. Oh man, is this going to become a recurring theme on this stream? That's what was concerning to me. I agree with the severe okay, I need to catch up on YouTube chat. I agree with the severe problems of disinformation, but I worry a greater tyranny might arise out of any policy we legislate to address them. Well, you're worried about that because part of the tyranny are the fucked up people who are in charge of the government. So it's almost like, well, let's put rules on the government, enforced by the government. Like, it becomes difficult. I think independent institutions are things that we need, and we might just see more of them, but I don't know. That's what's concerned. It recognizes that not everything is protected under free speech. Free speech absolutionists lead to some insane reductions that are hard to morally swallow. Yeah, because they start out, they become a frustration matrix. If you guys were here the other day when we were talking about frustration matrices, I think people that are like single issue like that, like free speech absolutionists, they're like frustration matrices. They want to defend this point like irrespective of anything else. Is an and sin? Who knew? I don't know what the fuck that means. Oh crap. Wait, I didn't check how long we've been streaming. How long? How long? It doesn't tell me. How long have we been streaming, guys? Can somebody give me an uptime or something? Anybody know how long we've been streaming for? Anarcho-syndicalist? No, I don't believe in that bullshit.
Well, I agree that, like, actually it was harder to say you supported Trump in 2016. Frankly, I bet, like, you might be right. The 2016 social bias effect was huge because of that.
Yeah.
And so I think that it still is in play and potentially has gotten.
Look at how flexible our boy IRI is. Okay. I'm just going to assume, I'm going to take it as granted that what you're saying is a true thing that we can believe. If we believe that, can't we just as easily apply that last year and say there should have been a bigger discrepancy? Like, no, yeah, there is. Whatever. Like, okay.
Worse, but you're absolutely right that I'd say there's a big part of it that actually points in the social bias effect not playing as big of a role this time because of that.
Yeah, but I mean, you might be right. I've never thought about, like, can you more accurately predict what your neighbor thinks just based off your interactions with him than that person telling an anonymous pollster? I mean, and that's pretty much a big part of your argument is that people just aren't revealing their support for Trump, right?
Right. And I think polling is just it's.
Notice here, IRI is not here to argue with LCTRFan on every point. IRI is not here to pause the conversation every time he hears something he wants to disagree with. IRI tonally, like as in through whatever he's putting forward, it seems to be that he's just trying to build a model
that's similar to LectureFan's understanding of the world, so he can try and understand where he's coming from. So instead of fighting him on each of these individual things he gives him, he's just trying to put those puzzle pieces together into something that describes a world similar to the one that he sees. And so he's like, okay, so setting aside the legitimacy of this idea that you've given me regarding polls, I could see that, like, yeah, common sense to me, it does seem that you might know what your neighbors are voting for better than the person who calls on the phone and asks for the poll. That's kind of cool. Hell, you may be even able to, like, reach more people, because if I phone you and I ask, hey, who'd your neighbor vote for on either side, that's giving me 3 different numbers, when through that call I would have normally only gotten 1, or I would have gotten as many numbers as just for that one household. So, I mean, there's ways we could slice this if we take it for granted that could be cool. And so here's a big difference between going into, like, debate, going into argument, and going into a conversation. So he's more so approaching this as a conversation. He's trying to build a perspective of LectureFan so that he can understand that worldview. And so he's just slotting things in as LectureFan is describing it to him. It's almost like if we're trying to, we're trying to, like, paint a picture here, right? And I'm asking LectureFan, okay, describe your beauty to me. Okay, well, she has long, dirty blonde hair, okay, and she's got teeth with a big old buck in them. Her breath smells like sunflowers. She's got sun-kissed, freckled skin. Beautiful, beautiful blue eyes, and then she's got this beautiful love lump right next to the back of her ear, and I love that love lump. Okay, like a love lump. What does that look like? Oh, a love lump? Oh, it's about the size of a softball, about a top quarter of a softball right there, and then behind her lip. It just goes ahead and kisses and caresses the bottom of her lobe right there. On a hot, hot day when she's got the droopy lobes, it kind of just, hangs on right over it, kind of, makes a bit of an angle. She's got Buddha lobes. If he starts describing this woman to me, I don't just start going like, there's no way her earlobes reach her fucking neck lump, dude. There's no way she's got a neck lump the size of a fucking softball in the back of her neck. What the fuck? What's going on here? I'm not going to start criticizing every fucking description he gives me of this lady as if I'm debating whether or not the lady exists the way that he's describing her. The point is to paint a picture of the lady, and he's the only one that knows what the lady looks like, so I have to take his word on everything. Just because he has some weird ideas about the lady or what parts of her he likes or he's focusing on, that'll just be reflected in my picture of the lady. Like, maybe everything centers around this, like, nasty fucking love lump she has on her neck, and he just really likes love lumps. So he's got, like, a big fascination with it. We get nothing about the rest of her body, but we know everything around the love lump. She's got a freckle about 2 centimeters off of the, circumference of the, whatever. If he describes all that, then that's what we got. That's what we got to work with. That's what he's thinking about, because that's what we're going for. Now, if we want some objective, like, I'm a cop here, and I'm like, all right, love lump woman is wanted in connection with a crime. We believe that she may have hurt somebody, but we have to match the descriptions. Now, the witness did say that a woman with a large lump on her neck fucking cleaved this other person to death, but, we want to make sure of these details. So, could you describe her for me? Yeah, shit, well, you got it right off. You got the fucking nail on the head with that there love lump. I love that love lump right there. Below that, she got 2 freckles, whatever, like. Okay, I'm only going to be listening for what's important for identifying the lady. So maybe I start paying attention to different stuff.
I have a much better chance of making that work by shutting up than by speaking.
Thank you for that.
What did I walk into?
Yeah, we should probably get off of this topic anyways. This is a silly explanation. But basically, IRI is looking to create a worldview based on what LectureFan describes to him. He's not there to critique and fucking criticize every last detail of what LectureFan is describing. He's just there to get an understanding, to develop some kind of understanding of where that dude is coming from.
It's a difficult.
And I think a lot of you guys go into a conversation knowing you have to try and understand the other person, but instead you make a lot of decisions, whether out of ego or out of habit, to argue with them about every fucking thing, and then you miss out on the conversation, what the whole purpose was, which was to hear them out and listen to them. Especially towards the beginning of a debate or of a conversation, it doesn't hurt you to like take this position towards the beginning, lay out all the puzzle pieces, and once you hear that they start repeating stuff, then you can start going in, right? Okay, you're just repeating shit now, so I'm not getting any better idea of how you view the world. Now I'm going to move into criticism and maybe play around with these ideas a little bit more. Have some transition period into that, you know, have some foreplay. You don't want to immediately jump into everything you disagree with. It's not very fun for people. Unless you're talking about Stephen Benelli, people typically don't enjoy having conversations like that. So that's something to be aware of.
Business, it's a difficult thing to do. None of these pollsters say that, like, oh, this is 100%.
Does she have a fucking tumor on her neck? Jesus. Why are you calling it a tumor, bro? Why you gotta fucking stigmatize love lumps, you fuck? God.
This is what the election would be. They all admit, like, this is a difficult science. It's not an exact science. And I think, you know, all these different things play into it. And so I think it's a mistake to
have
just
some
rely on the
foreplay
polls.
with the
And
love
then what, you're
lump.
relying on the polls, and then you're disregarding all of the other evidence and even other polls you're seeing, where you're seeing huge enthusiasm and you're seeing huge Trump rallies. You're, you know, seeing all these things.
Well, so do you think that if Biden didn't care about the pandemic, whether or not that's correct, do you think that if Biden were to go forward with having rallies, that he wouldn't have as big of a turnout as Trump?
Yes, I think that's correct. So I think Biden's just using the pandemic as an excuse. I don't think he would have rallies. Nobody's really excited about Biden. I mean, he was never the exciting candidate for the Democrats. There was way more exciting candidates for the Democrats. Biden was always the boring one.
Why did he win the primary then? That's really weird. If everybody was so excited about Trump, how come you didn't even have any primaries in the Republican Party? How come you didn't run Trump against anybody? When we had Obama, didn't we run Obama against other people? $2012. Oh, fucking zero? Okay. Did he even run against anybody, or am I memeing? Well, this is a bunch of fucking randos. Oh, this fucking guy. Hey! But did we have a Republican primary race? And then this is for 2018, right? Or is it 2020 now? I guess it's 2020. Okay. Well, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Hey, who did we run against? We got Rocky de la Fuente. Hey, Rocky. Hey, Santiago. Hey, that means whale vagina. In case you didn't know. Bill Weld. I don't know him. Joe Walsh. He kind of looks like that dude that killed himself in prison. What was his name? Mark Sanford. Okay. He really looks like that dude. That dude that had the island where he fucked a bunch of kids. What was that dude's name? Love that guy. Best politician. Yikes. Well, not my kind of fella, but, you know, to each their own, I guess. He's a man of Illinois. Walsh, 2020. Did he really not run against anybody? Oh, God, I stand corrected, I guess.
I can't argue that. I definitely don't think he was the most
Epstein?
exciting one out there. But I think that I would just counter with that. I think there are a lot of people out there that are against Trump and want to express it. And we saw that with all the protests before the pandemic. I'm not talking about the George Floyd stuff, but even before then, I mean, we just saw monster crowds. I mean, the biggest protest in U.S. history was the Women's March. The first one. You know, so I just wonder, like, if the pandemic wasn't going on, I think Biden would be drawing some big rock star crowds. Now, can I back that up with anything besides pointing to the Women's March and, you know, some of these anti-Trump marches? I can't. But I'd be curious to think, like, if Biden wasn't concerned with public safety, like, then maybe he'd have some big crowds too. But you disagree.
Yeah. It's a convenient excuse. I'll give you that. It is a convenient excuse.
Dude, let me ask you this. Do you know anybody that's supporting Joe Biden in your neck of the woods?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, I've got friends here. I've got friends in Montana and at work and in my personal life that are Democrats and are voting Biden.
And like, who are these people? Because I know people here in California, but like, who is voting for Biden in Montana? And like, what kind of person is this?
Dude, they're normal. They're most likely a person they're just like an average American Democrat. That's the best way I can describe it. They're totally plugged into the national culture, the national media.
They're just an average American Democrat. They're just fucking dumb fucks.
You know, they're educated. You know, maybe they went to college out of state and university out of state, and then they came back, and you know, that type of a person. Or, you Yeah.
They went to some shitty fucking Democrat city to get brainwashed, and they brought those fucking brainworms home with them. We just deal with them, bro.
I would say
it's okay. They got no power in Montana.
More. I mean, I do think the education thing probably is true, they say, but I mean, I don't necessarily read into that statistic what all of you guys on the left, only Democrats really want to read into it.
Well, I think we're always going to try to find things that back up what we believe, right? And no matter what side we're on. You mentioned that
Yeah, didn't you just talk about your statistics, dude, that says that all the polls are wrong, that we're not asking people about their neighbors, we're a bunch of dumb fucks? I think everybody does that. That's fine.
Right at the end there, before I cut you off on the video, that you weren't a fan of Fox News anymore, and I know a lot of people on the right have kind of soured on Fox News. Like, where do you go for your news and to keep up on things? Because Drudge Report's out, they hate Trump now, and Fox News is out. Like,
and here's another thing. Once I've pointed out to you that IRI's whole purpose here is to build some understanding of LCTRFan, pay attention to the questions he asks. Let's listen to this one more time from IRI.
Statistic what all of you guys on the left, only Democrats really want to read into it.
Well, I think we're always going to try to find things that back up what we believe, right? And no matter what side we're on. You mentioned that
Okay, so he has this stylistic thing where when he wants to transition off of something, he'll give a quip that has some indication of what his belief is. Now, being in his position as a streamer, his chat already knows what he believes. They listen to him for hours and hours. There's no point in telling the chat. If I can just allude to it, the chat knows where I'm coming from on stuff. So it's not a big deal to just move off of a topic like that. And then let's see what he asks.
Right at the end there, before I cut you off on the video, that you weren't a fan of Fox News anymore, and I know a lot of people on the right have kind of soured on Fox News. Like, where do you go for your news?
Where do you go for your news and information, right? These are world-building questions. So, okay, hey, I understand that a lot of Republicans are done with Fox News. So I wonder, where else are you going for news? Now, ImReallyImportant is asking this because, as I explained to preface this entire video, IRI is somebody who cares a lot for electoral politics and for the constituents that make that, voting block up. So the average American. Where's the average American going? Well, it seems that in much the same way that IRI is keyed into what the average Democrat would go to and would look up, C-SPAN, CNN, fucking MSNBC, whatever the fuck. LCTRFan is the other side of the coin. LCTRFan knows a lot of conservative mainstream stuff. And from IRI's perspective, it seems that the conservative mainstream is shifting away from platforms like Fox, at least in part, and he's wondering where are those people going. He may not have a very good way of understanding that because, as you can see in his background, he makes some bad political decisions. But he's asking somebody with better political taste where it is that he could find that kind of news, right? All of this is just an exercise in trying to build out the way that LCTRFan and Republicans at large see the world so that he can benefit his coverage, of these elections, of the constituency, and of whatever. He wants to understand these voters better, and he needs to know where to look to get that information. Among other things, this is the kind of information he's trying to get from LCTRFan here. Though this may be he says quick chat. Maybe some people would call it a debate. I framed it as IRI versus LCTRFan. The reality is that this is IRI interviewing LCTRFan to get information about Republicans in the country.
To keep up on things, because Drudge...
On his roommates going... Oh, God, what the fuck is this? What have you linked me? Booksmart's on his roommates going on spring break.
Yeah.
They went to some shitty fucking Democrat city to get brainwashed, and they brought those fucking brainworms home with them. We just deal with them.
Yeah.
They went to some... I like that. Okay, what is this?
If this was a free and fair election, I would say the reason is that Democrats finally got their voting law changes that made it so irresponsible voting could take place and got a bunch of uninformed ignoramus people to vote. If this was a free and fair election,
the American people are idiots. They don't vote for the shit that I want. If we gave everybody a vote, they'd ruin it. I don't know, bro. You had the biggest fucking populist candidate ever. He tricked a bunch of dumb fucks into voting. What do you mean? What do you mean? I would argue that Obama tricked a bunch of dumb fucks into thinking the government could change too, and he just fucking killed a bunch of terrorists with drones, bro. This just happens over and over again. The Americans are fucking dumb, yeah. But how do we fix that?
I don't know. Like, are we just going to keep ignoring the fact that Americans are dumb, gullible motherfuckers? Or are we going to, like, accept that, move past it, give everybody the vote, and then try and fix it to where everybody's not fucking stupid? I don't know. Because, like, this is something that Dan Carlin, this, like, old dude who I have a crush on, the Dan Carlin guy, when he's talking about politics and he's talking about debate, he says that a common thing that he used to be able to do in debate that would always shut down conversations is he would bring it back to a point of asking the people, oh, okay, why don't we put it up to a vote? Why don't we let the American people vote on that? And then we'll see what they decide, right? Because if you argue against that, if you say, oh, well, no, come on, Dan, we can't, give this vote to the American people because the American people don't know what's good for them. That's incredibly unappealing. You've, like, lost the argument right there. If you can't convince the American people to vote along with you on this issue and you still want to subject them to those rules, then you've lost, because in America, the people decide what happens and stuff like that. But we're increasingly on both sides having groups that are like, I don't care what the average American thinks. I don't care what the population votes for. I don't care what the grander population thinks. They're fucking stupid, or they're fucking illogical, or they're fucking ignorant, or they're fucking susceptible to propaganda, or they're this, or they're that. And, like, the fact is those people exist whether we gave them a vote or not. And the fact that you're okay with so much of the country just, like, living steeped in ignorance is, like, silly and fantastical. I don't know. And that's even if you assume that that's correct. Even if you assume that everybody's dumb. And even if they are, the laws still apply to them regardless of how many IQ points they have. So it's not a very good argument. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Now that people are more accepting of the idea that, like, maybe the electorate is wrong and maybe we need to, like, put our hands in the cookie jar and, like, fix things for them. Like, that's some bullshit. It's bullshit that I'm surprised the parties have got away with for so long. But now it seems like rather than correct the parties who are, like, fairly undemocratic, we're going to try and, like, we're going to also try and correct the fucking government to act more like the parties, to be more corrupt, to be less considerate of the votes and of the will of the American people, because we think the American people are dumb or this or that or the other thing. And it's like, yikes. I'm pretty sure when we were, like, contemplating giving votes to the slaves and stuff, we heard the same fucking argument. The slaves are fucking dumb. They're stupid. They're dumb fucks. They don't know what's going on. We can't give a vote to them. They're ignorant. They're this, they're that. Like, no matter what voting block it is that you're trying to restrict, Native American, oh, the Native Americans are dumb. They fucking live in teepees. They don't know shit. Whatever. Like, it doesn't matter who you're trying to levy this argument against. It's fucking baloney no matter what it is. Everybody should get the fucking vote. It's either everybody gets it or we accept that not everybody can get it. And I don't think we're at the point where we accept that not everybody can get it yet. So if that's what we're going to sell on the surface, that everybody gets a vote and we care, then we should give everybody a vote and it should fucking matter. And it doesn't matter if, like, well, if you force 90% of the populace to vote, you realize how dumb they are. Like, okay, I see a problem that we need to solve that is not take away the vote from them. It's like, well, let's make them smarter. This is something we can fix, right? Like, or like, let's change the way news is disseminated or information is disseminated. Like, I see a billion other problems and a billion other solutions. And the one solution that doesn't pop into my head is to, like, limit the vote for a bunch of people. I may play around with that when I'm in a doomer mood, but I don't think that that's ever anything I would seriously consider. I would much rather err on the side of give everybody a vote and improve the voting populace and the tools that they have to make decisions and to focus on that. Like, if he won by tricking a bunch of people, or if Biden won by tricking a bunch of people, that's fucked. But I think the problem isn't Biden or Trump. The problem is tricking people. And it doesn't matter who was the one that tricked people. I have a problem with people tricking other people. That's the shit that we got to stop. I don't know. I feel like we're all, like, really messed up with how we're diagnosing problems and coming up with solutions here. Dude, after that, I went to look at what the literacy tests were like in the South. LCTRFan would fail these tests, too. Dan Carlin, Hardcore History, and Common Sense are good shows. Yes, they are. I used to listen to the Common Sense show on iTunes back in 2007-ish. Same with Air America. That's good shit, dude. It seemed like Carlin had a bit of a crisis or breakdown partway through the Trump presidency. I remember him saying he was having a hard time outing stuff, putting stuff together because he didn't really know what was going on. Yeah, he doesn't have like the answers, and a lot of the answers he says come down to baseline components. Like he thinks that there's like a handful of main problems that have faced like the United States for quite some time, and when you boil things down, they always come down to that. So it's not very helpful. And the emotional response that Dan wants to have, where he like yells at everybody, is not the way to fix it, which is the other difficult thing. The other difficult thing is like, the way to fix this is not the instinctual way that we want to go. The way to fix this is not me making Southern accents and making fun of Republicans. The way to fix this is not like yelling at you guys about not reading studies on like whether or not we should open up schools and not being reasonable on it. That's ultimately not the way you fix it. The way you fix it has to be something else. Whether it's that love thy neighbor BS, or it's educating people, or it's systemic reform, it's got to be something, but we have to fix that. And we're not. And the way to fix it is for sure not making fun of people or like furthering those divides. But I've accepted this as an entertainment platform. That's what you guys want from me, so I'm gonna fucking go with the accent. Fuck yeah. But, you know, it's probably not the way to solve it. That's for darn sure.
Drudge Report's out. They hate Trump now, and Fox News is out. Like, where are you looking?
Well, I mean, I watched.
What about Kimiko? How's the wife? She's doing well, dude. She's doing well, dude. I lubed her up this morning, so she's doing pretty all right. But, you know, coming up around about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I probably have to, you know, put her to sleep because she's making a lot. She's doing gestures. Kimiko is off screen right now, and she's jumping up and down. She's I shouldn't do that. She's she's fully animated, dude, right now. She's telling me, "Come on, baby, get off." But I'm like, "Nah, I got to cover this, babe." Hold on.
It's like I still read the mainstream media. I actually, to get most of my news, it would actually probably be Wall Street Journal, because I have an actual account for Wall Street Journal that I go to. But no, I read all of the different news sources. I, you know, obviously read articles that I see on Twitter. You know, I do check Drudge still, even though Drudge has gone now anti-Trump. You know, and then it's mostly just a matter of, you know.
For anybody that's new, this is what we're talking about. We were joking the other day that the oil and stuff behind me is for maintaining a robot, my robot wife. And I told them my robot wife's name is Kimiko or some shit. And I told them I was reminded of Archer, the evil scientist guy's wife that he made, the anime girl. So now the running joke is that all that's for Kimiko, my robot wife. And her personality kind of shifts all the time. Sometimes she's yandere, sometimes she's tsundere, sometimes she's all sorts of different kinds.
Commentary and understanding and analyzing the news sources, because like you can read a news source that's fake news and like,
but only when we both consent, bro.
Still get some facts out of it, and just like, but you have to take it for what it's worth. You have to accept it for what it is, which is fake news, and you can watch it, filter out the fake part of it, and take the facts.
I still not on board with the fake news stuff, and I'll be honest, I read you know, I go over to Breitbart sometimes and Drudge and stuff and Fox News, and
do I really? Okay, I'll delete it after. It'll be a Patreon exclusive.
In my opinion, they all have the same facts. They just kind of emphasize certain things for emotional reasons for their audience, right? They're going to frame things in a way that's good or bad, but I don't know. I find it hard to believe that there's actual like fake news out there. You know, like I know the Obamagate thing was a big thing to you, so I asked this during my review of your VOD. Why do you think there haven't been any charges if there's so much there? I mean, William Barr is no shrinking violet. I mean, why wouldn't he be issuing indictments months ago for these people?
This was such an easy one, because it's obvious that Durham and the Department of Justice think that they need to follow DOJ policy and wait until after the election before they do any major indictments. They always hear it's DOJ policy not to interfere in elections, and so Durham is still doing his investigation. Durham hasn't like said, "Hey, I'm done with my investigation. You know, we're done. No more indictments." But it's going to look a lot more legitimate, I think, and less subject to criticism if the indictments come after the election, regardless of who wins. You know, maybe Biden wins and there still are indictments. You know, that would be crazy. But if Trump wins and then the indictments come out, it's going to, because, you know, the Democrats would have otherwise.
I don't think that's not safe for work. I think we're fine.
100% fake hoax, you know, the whole 9 yards. Like, so you say like, oh, I can't believe, you know, how you could believe in fake news.
Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine. There's no not safe for work. You're out of your goddamn mind.
I don't understand how you can believe some of this stuff that
we're scot-free this time, boys. Nothing bad in there. I just had to check and make sure that there wasn't anything not safe for work in that thing. There was not. So Rage Pope, you're wrong as fuck, dude. Is that a bagel or a donut? It's a bagel. What was the exact search? Kimiko Archer.
That's been said about Donald Trump, whether it's the Ukraine thing or the Russia thing or any of that stuff. So, I mean, we just have a completely different viewpoint on, you know, who can you really trust and why.
How do you think we bridge that? I know when we talked originally, you were just saying, like, my side has to win. That's it. But, I mean, is there a way to bridge that?
Yeah, I think so.
Does it involve, I'm assuming it involves my side moving over more to listen more? Or what do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I think it would need to be, the only way it can actually happen is at a base level where it's happening amongst like really close friends or people at an individual level in the real life or something. Which, you know, it would have to be organic and naturally coming. It would have to be like a religious revival or like a spiritual reawakening. I think I've always said this on my stream is that like I don't necessarily think that we can just fix our country with just some more political stuff or more laws and politics and we're going to fix the country. It's going to need to be like a complete, you know, reawakening spiritually and religiously, which America has gone through. America's gone through several great awakenings. There's the first great awakening, second great awakening, and so that's the only way I think that like anything can happen. Otherwise, we're just gonna just look at Europe, just look at where Europe is today, and that's where America's headed. Otherwise.
Well, it seems to be the trend is heading in the opposite direction, though, that evangelicals are shrinking and religion is losing its strong.
Hold on. I'm trying to see if there's something we're supposed to be doing today. Hold on. I might have a lunch that I'm supposed to go to. No, I don't think I do. Okay, we're fine.
Hold in American politics, and you know, immigrants tend to be the people who are
I'm
very
distracted
involved in the church and are the recruits to church as more and more Americans turn away from it. But this
IRI has really good recall. He does. He's very, very good at it. And the fact that he's spent so much of his time on legitimate sources and C-SPAN and like measuring what the electorate thinks, it's incredibly valuable that he has good recall. Same with Destiny. If somebody has good recall and they combine that with really good experiences, that's a fucking deadly combo, dude. I'm almost tempted to say that good recall requires having cool experiences, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Yeah, I think people that have good recall and they have good solid experiences, like a wealth of like life experience, I think they can do a lot with that combination. IRI is one of those people. When you ask him stuff, it really does feel like he has ready access to all sorts of shit. And if he doesn't, he's a good Googler, so. IRI knows what he's doing. Exactly. What's the time on the West Coast? 1:26 p.m. Here comes the anti-Islamic stuff. What? I didn't even do anything anti-Islamic.
Administration has had, you know, in a lot of people's eyes, very anti-immigrant policy. We're like shutting down the number of refugees, shutting down the amount of people coming in. So, I mean, it just seems like.
You wish you could do a Q&A with me sometime? Interesting you say that. Well, if you join the Patreon, one of the tiers has a, there's a monthly Ask Me Anything, and you guys can submit a question there if you're on the right tier on Patreon. So that's the closest thing you could do to a Q&A. Pick one cool question and put it in that. I'm going to make a whole video, and of course that's early access on Patreon, and then it'll be on the YouTube before the end of the month.
It's like the policy has been hurtful if that's the goal, no?
Oh, you got to be fair though. Like he's actually only trying to shut down illegal immigration. Actual legal immigration, there's still we're still taking in, I think, 1 million legal immigrants every year in the United States, even under Trump. That's not like that hasn't been shut off in any way, shape, or form. So we're still like, you know, he's not really anti-immigrant as bad as you're trying to make it out to be.
I don't have the figures in front of me, but it definitely.
This is the closest we're getting to arguing
seems
here.
Like a number of people we're allowing in is slow down. I mean, we even saw like temporary visas, like farmers asking for more people to be allowed in and stuff like that. But what if you know, it seems like Islam.
And we're going to transition off of it, right? Because again, IRI's purpose here is not to argue. That's why I like reviewing these videos, because I think, audience, I love you guys, okay? I had a whole clip where I start crying because I have to care a lot less about you guys, all right? I really do like you guys. I think all of you are individual people. The problem that some of you guys have, a lot of you guys have, is you watch this stuff on Twitch a lot, and then you go into life, and whether you mean to or not, you carry a lot of the same conversational things you see in here into your real life. So you get frustrated by friends that aren't willing to follow you down rabbit holes or be logical with you or discuss sources. Jesus Christ. All sorts of things like that. And so I think showing you a different style of communication, showing you how you can move off of disagreements, how you can continue momentum in a conversation beyond just the dimension of arguing and finding the truth and yada yada. Because even when you pursue truth with somebody and you guys are doing your back and forth and you're trying to find that, what is all this? Ribbit? Toad goes, ribbit? You're such a handsome egg. Ribbit for my eggy boy. Where is all these ribbits coming from? Did I get a raid from somebody random? Somebody related to frogs? The whole thing that IRI does here is not a debate. What IRI is doing here, again, I'll keep repeating it, is exploring the perspective of LCTRFan, which you should be doing in your real life with other conservative people. It's not fun to argue with people, really. Unless the other person argues in the way that you argue, it's not very fun, right? Like, it wouldn't be fun for me to argue with Destiny as Rhetoric Andy, right? I've done that before. It's not super fun for him. But if I go in there and I argue with him like a normal dude, like Noah, or like a politics person, or maybe even like a logic bro, that's much more fun for him. He likes that. And same with here, like, if IRI really wanted to argue with LCTRFan, he would have to do it in the way that LCTRFan does it in order for it to be fun, so that there's back and forth. If you go into an argument thinking you're correct and the person in front of you is a dumb fuck who doesn't know how sources work, that's not fun. You don't talk the same way as you would somebody who you respect, you think's intelligent, and who may even have challenges to things that you're presenting. That's a completely different conversation. Like if you guys talk to a coworker at work versus somehow I Thanos snap you into a call with Destiny, you're going to behave very differently in those conversations, even if they're on the same topic, even if you disagree with the person the same way, even if they hold the same position. So realizing that you got to talk different with different people is helpful. And IRI gives you an example of how you can like casually disagree with stuff, how you don't have to get into a big ass fucking fight over every single thing that you guys don't agree on, how you can still come out of such a conversation, not as a cuck, not as a simp, not as somebody who just didn't get anything, but as somebody who is able to expand their understanding of the other side. Because even in a scenario where, let's say, he argues with LCTRFan on every single point and pushes it as far as he can on every single point, he'll come away with probably the exact same information as if he would have just asked questions. He probably will not have changed LCTRFan's mind on stuff by the end of it. LCTRFan likely will not have changed his mind on a lot of it. And so what little he'll have to take away is what he remembers about LCTRFan's positions and about the way that LCTRFan argued. And you can get that same information without all the social costs and without the time costs, without the emotional baggage, by just asking him questions and like being intentional about, if we had a giant argument, what am I looking to get out of it? Well, I want to understand the Republican position a little bit better. Well, I can skip all the arguing and just ask about the Republican position a bit more. Where do you get your info from? Where would I go to look if I wanted to find something that agreed with you? Why do you think the polls are wrong? Why do you think that Trump is going to win? Why do you think Biden doesn't have as much support? Do you really think that if Biden had a rally that, this many people would not have shown up? Like, interesting. And just explore stuff. Like, just because you hit a moment of disagreement doesn't mean that that's an idea or an emotion that needs to get time in the conversation. Like, if anything, I think it's a little bit selfish to feel the need to derail a conversation with every fucking little disagreement you have with the other person. And I think especially if you're not going to change their mind, or they're not interested in learning the same things that you would learn from such an argument, it's kind of selfish to put them through it. Don't put them through it. Find another way around that. Make sure that, like, if you're getting information out of it, and that's the point, that it's fun for both of you. Like what he does is he gives his perspective through little quips. Holy shit, what's up with the spam, guys? Oh, good God. At Booksmarts, how many... Oh, goodness gracious. Are we having a bunch of people that are just... What is going up? I mean, what is going on? Hold on. We have to ban this fucking guy. All right. We're going to time you out for... Actually, no, I'm going to ban you because you're kind of... This is bannable. Ban user. Reason... Spam shitter. Sawi. Uwu. Sorry, you're a spam shitter. You're lost. Gaming with my sister. You sound like you probably talk with this accent, you froggy fuck. You're gaming with your sister. Enjoy her love lump in the fucking land of the band, you dumb fuck. Ooh woo, band. Calm down. Feels weird, man? No, don't. Too late. Too late. All right, we got rid of cheese with toast and gaming with my sister, and that's it. You other ones, you're fine. I'm going to keep you in here, but you got to be careful. What the fuck is going on in chat? I don't know. There we go. All right, they're gone. Those two were particularly problematic. Frogging it up. Have you reviewed any X Skills Me debate? No. I really like watching X Skills Me debate Vosh, though. It's funny as fuck. Wait, am I not allowed to leave? I mean, you can leave or whatever. I just had to ban 2 people because they're spamming. I don't care where you guys come from or whatever.
It's like the fastest growing religion out there. I mean,
you could be from Wakanda. I don't care. We don't discriminate here. Just don't spam.
We've got people like Ilhan Omar who are pretty religious that are.
Phew, did I make it past the bans? Yeah, there were only 2.
I mean, would you be okay with like Islam getting a stronger foothold as a religion in America? I mean, but why not? Why not?
Because I believe it's a false religion.
Oh well, but you're gonna run into a brick wall with people. I mean, there's a billion people that believe in it out there.
Well, that's fine. We can disagree religiously. It doesn't mean that I have to support that religion.
But the First Amendment would give them the same expression of religion as you, no?
Oh, they absolutely do. They 100%, yeah, and I'm all in favor of that. There's nothing wrong with that.
But what if it just became trendy and just more and more people joined instead of like Christianity, for example?
Well, I mean, then that's what happens.
I almost kind of don't like this line of questioning, but I think it's probably helpful to IRI. I think this line of questioning is a lot like the same as if you were like, hey, I know that you don't like socialists, right? But you would defend the right to free speech, right? Well, yeah, I'd say. Like, I don't like them. I don't want people to become socialists, but yeah, I guess they have a right to say whatever the fuck they want to say. And then you're like, okay, well, what if there was a swing around where a lot of people start becoming socialists in the country? Well, no, I'm not okay with that. Obviously, I don't want that to happen. Like, that's not ideal for me, but they still have the right to free speech. I don't know where this is going.
There's nothing. I mean, that's what do you mean? I guess
it almost feels like you're trying to catch him saying like, well, I'll tell you what, we get over 20% of these fucking Muslims in the country, and we're going to have to be passing some legislature to be toning down that fucking speech, getting a little too powerful. Like, are we expecting him to respond that way?
I don't understand the question.
Well, because you were saying that the solution is to this division between us is injecting more religion and spirituality. But what if it turns out to be a religion that you may not?
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I think you can actually look and you can actually see what happens with that, because you can actually look in countries around the world and parts of Europe and other places, what actually happens to a country's politics and society and culture and everything as you increase the number of Islamic adherents.
This is what he's trying to fish out. Hey, you got any bad Islam takes? Woo-loo-loo. Hey, Islam. Ooh. Are you gonna nibble? Are you gonna nibble? Where's the takes on Islam? Here we are. Well, you know, I got no problem with the Islamic peoples of the world so long as they don't start taking up a majority of my country. And the reason that I believe this is if we look at the European countries where this has happened, you can actually see what that does to a political system. Like, okay, here's the yikers. This is what we're looking for.
This is not something we don't have to guess about. And so I think you would just have to look in certain places in Europe and other parts of the world where they've had an increase in.
All I'm going to say is that it's worked out a certain way in the countries that have accepted these Islamic immigrants into their countries. What I will say is it's not up for debate. You'll have to talk about science. There's a lot of science about that. Go ahead and look it up. I won't say anything, but look it up. We know what happens when you invite all of these Muslims into your country.
On immigration of Islam and just kind of
mask slipping. I like where this is going. Raggy.
What's happening?
Well, without getting too deep into that, I would just respond that I think that there's been a huge influx, and that's going to cause some conflict, no matter where it is, right? Because of the refugee crisis from North Africa and such. And yeah, they've had their share of problems, kind of culture clash. But I think it smooths out over the long run, and people develop new culture and become a part of something and such. But right now, yeah, there's a bit of a there's some clashing going on, sure. But that happens anytime you mix a couple of groups of people real quickly, you know?
Right. But I guess I was going to say I agree with you, like. that it's unlikely to happen, and that America is moving away from religion, and that all the Americans.
But we don't got to worry about that. I mean, to get back to the topic at hand, let's stop talking about Muslims. It's not going to happen here, all right?
No Americans go to church anymore. Like,
You got to worry about it.
That's what we're seeing in America. That's why I think America, one of the underlying primary reasons why America has as many problems as it does. And so that's, I mean, we agree on that. That's what I'm saying. It's like the only way.
I almost don't think LCTRFan thinks that's as Yikers territory, maybe as IRI and his audience does. So maybe it's just he doesn't see that as that big a deal. So moving into and out of that space is not as big a deal as it is for these guys. But it's definitely a big deal for me, too. That's something that is Yikers that I'm hearing like the beginnings of and how he's describing it. But I don't know. Tough to say. We didn't go very deep on that one. We kind of just, like I talked about the, if you picture like one of those planes that skips on the water, one of those like water planes that's in Alaska and stuff, we've just barely kissed the top of the water, right? Ooh, let's talk about Muslims. Well, if you look at Europe, it didn't go too well. Like, okay, I guess we're moving past that, but that might be interesting to explore later. Might want to get a little bit more than a kiss of that one to figure out what's going on. I feel like this is a bit different, though, since it's religion and people hold the idea of freedom of religion in a much higher tier than your views on capitalism and socialism. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm sure this is like old, so I'm getting to it later. Religion's in the same exact, isn't it? Hold on, am I dumb? Religion should be in the same thing as the First Amendment. I'm only talking about the First Amendment. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, I'm saying all of this is in the context of the First Amendment. Like, you should have right to freedom of speech and religion and all your other bullshit. So, I mean, yeah, like, the socialist people have the same right to freedom of speech as the religious people. And religion is in the same thing, is in the same amendment as free speech. Those two go together. So maybe that's where the confusion is coming, is I treat those at the same level because they're literally in the same part of the Bill of Rights. Moi. Just FYI, LCTRFan allows racial IQ peeps in his chat. Well, I mean, the data supports it, right? He seems like a man who likes data. When that data happens to support Yikers things, he follows that where it goes, right? No? Who decides what a religion is? I don't know. It's a good question. Religious people, I would assume. I think you're right about that. If you listen to the C-SPAN Trump supporters, the vast majority of them talk about restoring the presence of Christianity in society. Yeah. Well, because if everybody's a dumb fuck and they all believe in the wrong shit, how are we going to fix that? Well, sir, shit ain't through the fucking fake news. Can't be trusted. I'll tell you what. There's one word on the street that I feel like over the last 3,000 years has been more than correct, and that's the word of God, my brothers. If media won't get us out of this, if our freedom of speech won't get us out of this, if this country, which has been on shaky ground since the Civil War, is not an institution which can handle this, I can appeal to nothing but the thing which has united Christians across the world for eons and guaranteed our continued existence, and that's got to be the Word of God. I think if more people in this country found the Word of God, we'd start listening to the same sources. I think if more people knew what's out there in the great beyond, maybe we'd start caring less about these petty, arguments over some immigrants that don't even belong here when we could talk about Jesus and what he'd want to do. I almost feel, like low-key, honestly, if I had the glove to Thanos snap everybody to be Christians, I wonder how different of a world that would be. Like if everybody just dead-ass believed that Jesus was a dude and he died on the cross and the fucking Romans tortured him and crucified him and everybody was like all at once like, dude, that's fucked. You can't just torture that fucking guy. He wasn't doing anything. He's helping like poor people and disabled folks. Like, you know what? Fuck you guys. Fuck the governments. Fuck all these like, and if everybody became Christian and like actually followed Christianity, I wonder if that would be like a moral buoy that would help us to like control the direction of countries better. I mean, it seems like a crazy fucking Thanos snap to do, and that's not the solution I would go for. But, that does seem to be something.
Our politics is ever going to get fixed is if our foundations and our families and our religious life and all these other things get fixed. Otherwise, our politics are never going to get fixed.
Do you? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you have any idea of how that happens? I mean,
again, I think it has to happen at like an individual level amongst people who are, face to face. This individual personal relationships, just all over. How to get that going is like, do Bible studies on Twitch is one way.
How are your Wednesday night Bible studies going?
Dude, it's awesome. I've read through like 5 or 6 books of the Bible already, so we're probably gonna end up getting through the whole Bible eventually.
That's pretty cool. I've seen a few people come on Twitch and discuss the Bible as their primary thing. I know there's a pastor, and it just seems ripe for people to congregate, especially during COVID. It makes sense. So I personally, I'm not religious, but I don't have a problem with religion because it's a community.
See, again, IRI is opening up with questions to try and figure out the worldview of LCTRFan. And if he responds at all to any of these topics, it's just to briefly give his take and his perspective where he's coming from, just in case they're both interested in this conversation for the exact same reasons, to like draw a better, more informed, probably like Steelman-y version of the other person's side, right? And so just in case LCTRFan is interested in that stuff, IRI tries to end a lot of these topics with his belief on it. And then if LCTRFan has something to say, maybe they have a quick back and forth before moving on to the next thing. This is all in the pursuit of trying to get to know LCTRFan and Republicans better.
And people tend to be focused on helping one another and such. And so
Protestant versus Catholic is one.
Obviously, I've got my differences when it comes to government and religion.
If I was Thanos snapping, I'm making everybody the right kind of Christian, though. You done gone and divided up the truth into so many different sects and things like that. I'm not talking about no Orthodox. I ain't talking about no Catholic. I'm talking about real Christians, buddy. I'm talking about followers of Christ. All right, I'm talking about those who read the Holy Book.
Mixing, but
right. No,
tends to
cool.
be mostly positive, yeah.
That's all I could ever hope for, so that's great.
Let me, I don't want to keep you too long. I know it's kind of late where you're at, but is there any scenario you could see Joe Biden winning? Because you're quite confident, based on that VOD I saw, that the Republicans will hold the Senate and Trump easily wins, but is there any scenario you could see Joe Biden winning?
Yeah, for sure. There's that nagging doubt in the back of my mind every once in a while. I'm like, really, could Biden win? So yeah, I think it's possible. And I'm not even following my own advice because now I've got my hopes up, and I think Trump is going to win. So now if he doesn't, it's going to be a lot more devastating to me.
Well, one
Smokey the Copia man.
person's going to win, and some people are going to be sad, and others are going to be okay. Would you survive under 8 years of Biden? I know you probably think he's going to die on day one, and Kamala Harris becomes president, and the pandemic ends on November 4th too. But do you think you could live under 8 years of Joe Biden?
Yeah. It's going to just be more of the same. I mean, if we get Biden, it's going to be, I don't think it's going to, I mean, I think it is a disaster, frankly, for the country because of the corruption and everything like that. And it would basically be like rewarding corruption and rewarding foul play and, basically the American.
Yeah, I have to give the preface that I normally give in these analytical talks. We are in hindsight. So we get a bunch of benefits in hindsight. That's also why I didn't cover the election. I just waited till it's done so I know how I have to talk about it. I mean, it's much easier to just do it that way. And given I'm Dr. fucking hindsight over here, I love just always taking the position of hindsight.
It's okay that you've politically corrupted law enforcement and intelligence agencies, and that you've compromised your office and done all these horrible things. That's okay. We're gonna that's okay, and that's gonna have horrible, far-reaching effects. But I think Biden will just be more of the same stuff that we've seen: constant blowout deficits, ever expanding size and scope of the federal government, more regulations, more taxes. But life will go on.
Yeah, I ask because there's this fear mongering out there that if your taxes are going to quadruple and we're going to become Venezuela, and I don't think a lot of people on the right really believe that, but that's how I was curious. Like,
okay, well, I'm really important. The thing about coming to Venezuela, that was in Meet the Press. That was very specific to a huge.
Oh shit. He's very upset about that. Don't talk shit about Venezuela. That's my good comparison to how shit works here. Let me tell you about why that's correct. It sounds like the way you're talking about it, you don't believe that Venezuela is a problem. So let me go ahead and give you here a history lesson. You leftists don't understand foreign policy. This is why you want to fucking be bombing people in countries far the fuck across the world.
Huge Venezuelan population in South Florida. And it's actually very effective because a lot of those people that have come from communist countries like Cuba and Venezuela, and they're in South Florida. I lived in Miami for 3 years during law school. I went to law school in Miami and I lived there for 3 years. And I remember these people would always say, oh my gosh, the Democrats sound just like communists. The Democrats are saying the exact same thing communists said. Oh, I've heard this over and over again before. And all the Cubans and Venezuelans are like huge Republicans. And that's going to be a huge.
Bro, I don't mean, hold up. I might get banned for this. Hold up. I don't mean to racially stereotype anybody, bruh, but the fucking dots are clicking for me. This is why Steven hates the leftists, dude. It's that Cubano blood fucking boiling in his veins, dude. He can't help it. He's got a natural genetic fucking pull towards hating the Democrats. I forgot that that's a part of Venezuelan and Cuban blood, is this hatred for commies and Democrats. He can just smell it out. He's fucking learned. He has adaptive traits. Holy shit. My bad.
Thing. Even Meet the Press was talking about it.
Sure. Yeah, no, I don't disagree on that. I think there is a large Hispanic population down there in Florida.
I learned something in this talk. I think I'm going to bring that up the next time I talk to Stevie Boy.
That does support the Republican Party because of a concern of that.
Hey, bro, have you ever considered that it's that warm Cuban blood flowing through your veins that's fucking getting to your brain and fucking up your perception of the Democrats and of leftism and socialism? Maybe if you went to Epstein's Island and had a little bit of baby blood or something, we could flush all that out and get you some nice, strong conservative blood, bro. We'll fix you up, get you thinking right. So bad. Oh shit, this is really bad. Video volume's much lower than yours. I don't know how the fuck I'm supposed to fix that though. Look, it's turned up all the way. It's turned up all the way here. Like I can turn me down, but that's the extent of what I can do. Poor YouTube chat's probably like, Booksmarts doesn't fucking read us. What's the point? Look, we haven't had a YouTube chat since fucking Pepe Wins. They were happy when I was getting spammed because they're like, if our voice can't be heard, bro, we'll take down your whole fucking system. You know what? Here's a conspiracy. I think that these fucking YouTube people went on my Twitch chat and spammed me. That's my new conspiracy. They were like, Booksmarts isn't reading us. I know what I'll do. I'm gonna go in his chat and I'm gonna spam. That's what happened there, bro. He hates us. No, I just can't read you, bro. I have a few conspiracies about your people, bro. I don't not trust you. I just don't trust your people, bro. Come on now. I said the reputations kill businesses, and this guy called me a fucking idiot and moron and banned me. Blood purification, brother K-Kona. Oh, shit. I'm spamming.
But I just, I hear these war drums being beat that if Joe Biden wins, it's a Trojan horse for the far left, like AOC is going to run the country and we're going to become, socialism. And I don't know. I think it's just as bad as saying that Donald Trump's going to be an authoritarian and king of the United States,
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me ask you this though. So what's your honest
We're not getting agreement there from Lecture, but let's see where he takes it.
belief? If Biden wins, how much of an impact and influence will AOC and the Bernie Sanders wing have on Joe Biden?
I think they have very little influence. Very little. I mean,
Really?
you're talking about.
I don't believe in that. I don't believe very little. How the fuck are we measuring very little? I will push back on IRI here. He's definitely listening to those fucking commie cucks, bruh. You got to admit, he is listening to them. Now, are they low-key, the no-faced fucking god controlling the whole ship and whatever? No, not at all. But they definitely have an influence. I mean, we can't on the one hand say that he did a good job of transitioning Bernie and like his supporters over to his campaign. We can't on the one hand say he was good at that because he implemented a lot of what they said in terms of policy or like gave them seats at the table. And on the other hand, at the same time say that like, no, they're not having any influence, man. Come on, be real. We have no reason to think that they'll have an influence, bro. You gotta you can't play both of those. You either gotta say that Joe Biden is playing these stupid fucking commies who think that they'll have a word until they don't, until he's actually in there and then nothing will change. You either have to say that or the other thing. I don't think you can have both at the same time.
4 members of Congress, 5 if you include Bernie, right? That's the squad. 4 members in their second term of Congress. I mean, how much influence do they have? I mean, you know what I mean?
Well, they act and pretend like they have tons of influence. They're like the number one influence.
Well, they have millions of followers on Twitter, so their voice is amplified, right? AOC is this beautiful woman who's saying all these edgy things, and she's mastered social media, and she had this amazing story, fairy tale story of beating a powerful incumbent.
And like this is one half of it is like the outward half, but IRI is not talking about the inward half. He's not talking about like the factual changes he's talking about that Biden has made to his campaign to include these people and cater to their voting blocks. So I don't know how we can have both at the same time. It may be a debate technique or like something that we're not connecting, but I do worry about that because I have heard him say a lot in terms of that, but it's not coming up here.
And so she's got this fairy tale about her, but when it comes down to power, she's not even a chairman on a committee. She's only on 2 committees. And
though I will give him credit that this line of argumentation and this picture he's drawing a lot more effective for arguing. To paint this picture of like, come on, bro. In reality, who are these people? 5 to 6 of them junior fucking Congress people with little to no say in anything. They just overinflate that shit because they have a strong online presence. So unfortunately, folks like you who are on the conservative party and engage in online politics have to deal with them all the time, but their influence is far overstated. The only reason that you think that is because you're hanging out on these platforms. In my own personal life, whatever, I definitely don't see them having a big impact. And the one place he can't go is he can't say, and if we look at Biden, he's not taking them seriously at all, because he is. But I think that that's a strong argument to put forward. It's just the problem is if LCTRFan remembers at all how he talks about integrating these thoughts, these ideas, these people, these groups into the party and into their platform and stuff, then he's in trouble. But I don't think they'll go there.
Nancy Pelosi.
Because, again, LCTRFan isn't here to really do that with him either. Lecture isn't, referencing past stuff that IRI has said in much the same way, or in the same way that IRI is doing that for LCTRFan, right? Talking about, yeah, the Bible study, how's it going? Yeah, this, how's that going? Yeah, when you're talking about this, I'm wondering about that. He's not doing that the same way IRI is doing that.
Runs that thing, and Nancy Pelosi's not on board with that stuff. So I actually think that they have very little power, maybe 4 or 6 years.
You can kind of see his chat talking about that too. Yeah, he talks about this, so I wonder why he's talking about it at this level.
They have more members, but right now it would be like me saying Matt Gaetz leads some sort of powerful block of the Republican Party. He's just like 1 or 2 guys, him and Jim Jordan and a couple others. I don't think they define the Republican Party.
Well, I hope you're right. I hope you're right about that. What do you think?
But God, is he good at talking for LCTRFan's perspective, including relevant conservative examples as well, to kind of put that in a perspective for LCTRFan is really, really good. That's something that I think you can only get as well from examining the other side from their own perspective to find these analogous examples between the two. So that's good. I really like that.
What do you think the AOC Bernie Sanders wing is going to say if Biden loses?
That's a great question.
They're probably going to blame the DNC and the Democrat establishment so fast.
I don't think so, because
they will. Come on now, they will. They did last time. They said, you lost because you put that stinky tuna sandwich in charge. If you would have just put Bernie, we could have had what we wanted. Even if we lost, we would have known that we rallied behind something that's better than Trump, and then we would have had 4 years to try to walk it out. But instead, we had to pretend like the establishment won and reflects the needs of the Democratic people, and then we'll have to redo this in 4 years.
That's actually how it happened. So I don't know. Anyhow.
I don't see a scenario where we don't win the Senate. And I know you and I disagree on that, but I'm just looking at RCP has all these Republican seats as toss-ups. And even if you split it down the middle, the Democrats still come out with the majority and control the Senate. So I think we control the House and the Senate no matter what happens. And that's a huge victory from just 4 years ago. So I don't see AOC turning on the establishment. The other thing is Nancy Pelosi stepping down in 2 years. She said she's only going to do 4 years under leadership, which means she's going to retire. So we're going to see some new leadership here.
So that's interesting you say that. I thought I just saw a headline that said Nancy Pelosi said she was going to run for Speaker of the House if the Democrats win.
If they win, she will run for Speaker of the House for the next term, but that's it. She's done after the next 2 years.
Okay. Wow, I can't believe she even wants to do 2 more years. Holy cow, I can't believe the Democrats. What
As Speaker? Why not? It's a very powerful position. Look at Chuck Grassley. He's up for re-election next year, and he's 86 or something. So she's 80, I think, right now. So 2 more years, not the end of the world.
Okay, so I think Daines is going to win in. I think Daines is going to win in Montana. Tillis is going
you can tell he's a little bit frustrated with that. That's all I'm going to get is an okay, whatever. Remember, not here to debate. You're here to figure shit out. That's it. So that's good. And you can see IRI struggle even a little bit in places like this where he obviously wishes he could go deeper or say something, but that's not what this conversation is for. I think you guys should get good at doing that in your own life as well. Try to practice this. Try to before you go into a conversation with somebody or before you guys embark upon a topic, try to think what you want out of that topic or what you want in terms of like the tone of the conversation, and try to maintain that throughout. And you'll find that you're constantly pulled in one direction or the other by emotion, by your subconscious, by whatever, to like talk in a certain way, one way or the other, or to argue, or to push back on everything, or to make fun of somebody, or whatever it is that your like natural inclination is towards. And you'll find that like being that aware during the conversation and constantly balancing yourself back makes you a better participant, and it gives you more control over what you're saying and how you're saying it, whatever. That's a good like foundation of rhetoric. Create a habit of like constantly checking in with yourself and making sure that you're handling things in the way that you came in to handle them. IRI is really good at that.
Win in North Carolina. Graham is going to win in South Carolina.
All right, so that's your low-hanging fruit.
And to his credit, I think LCTRFan is good at this too. When he's on a panel and he knows he has to argue, he's good at keeping that switch flicked on. When he's in here and he's doing a one-on-one, he's good at keeping that flicked on. Like
about Joni Ernst in Iowa.
Because remember, when he says shit like, okay, and it pisses off IRI, remember that he's doing the same thing. He could do all this arguing with him about shit that he, you know, doesn't really care about with the Democratic Party and how they're running it and how he disagrees with it. But he doesn't give two fucks about arguing what the Democrats should do in order to win or whatever. He doesn't want the Democrats to win. So who's he to debate their strategy and what's good and what's bad? Instead, he'll just casually meme that what they're doing isn't what he would do. Right? Because he doesn't care. And this is what I love is between these two, they're very intentional about the way that they talk. What am I going to give casual dismissal to versus what am I going to give a quip about versus what am I going to change the topic about? When am I going to use data? Like, if you really listen through this, and I know I've been super uncharitable to LCTRFan, but honestly, if you more align with LCTRFan, look at how he handled the conversation as well. I'm doing IRI because I think most of you guys are going to be IRI like leaning. But honestly, you could look at LCTRFan and pull the same shit out of there. Very intentional in the conversation, very strategic in the way they respond.
I think Ernst will win. I think McSally will win, and then that's
whether by design or not.
How does McSally?
Oh, let me check in too. I closed my phone. No, I agree with IRI. After losing so many House seats, I think the Dems are going to push people like AOC even farther away. Yeah, maybe. IRI spoon-feeding LCTRFan a little bit. Yeah, maybe. Especially after they barely won the House. I'm talking about I'm really important. This is your QAnon. What? I'm spamming.
Win in Arizona. I heard you say this about Arizona. She's been just well. I guess if you don't believe the polls, then you don't believe the polls.
No, dude. Look at Susquehanna. The latest poll out of the Arizona Senate is actually Susquehanna. McSally's up 3. Did you see that?
Yeah, but I did see a poll showing her up a couple, but that was such an outlier of all the other polls.
And this is the correcting influence that you need over your opinion in terms of data. Remember that you're meant to compare, at least if you're following my advice, you're meant to compare that data with other data of the same type. And then based on how it fits into it, you make a determination as to its validity. If there is a big distinction between the two, and you really, 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 for some reason, want that one thing that's weird to be correct, you have to figure out why that is. And if you do, you are embarking on motivated reasoning. So have fun and try to keep that in check. It's very difficult. But whatever, you can go and try and do it.
Not really. Rasmussen has Kelly only up 2. So it's a close race. And if you think about some of the problems with polling generally, I mean, McSally's got a poll showing her winning by 3 points. Rasmussen's only showing her losing by 2 points. I mean, it's a close race. And if the whole election breaks GOP.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1. Like, I don't know. But I guess somebody has to be the lower bound anomaly, right? Like, something has to be one way and then everything has to be the other. Like, you know.
Because of Trump.
But I mean, look, I don't know if you're looking at my stream, but like,
I just joined what the fuck is going on. We're doing a bit of a review. We're nearly done. We're nearly through it. Book has lost his mind. Yeah, a little bit. I feel like online left people think they need to desperately spin everything into their narrative, but most ideas they talk about don't need anything extra, and the extra selling if their ideas make it look like they need that extra cell, so it comes across desperate and less trustworthy. Oof, that was a chunk. I don't agree with that characterization, but I don't think it's worth talking about.
Like one poll out of just, tens of polls are showing Kelly
Oh
as much-
shit! I was counting 1, 2, 3, 5, and fucking we have all of this. Hold up. Shit. Well, that does change things. That is quite a lot more polls going one way versus the other. Holy fuck.
9, 13. I mean,
This is a roast, dude. This is the visual roast.
We'll see. I don't.
How did this race end up? Hold up. Let's look this up because I don't know. Maybe they were all wrong like they were in 2016. Let's see. Let's go back to this. What is this race? Mark Kelly versus Mick Sally. Okay. Kelly versus Mick Sally. As a bit of fun, we'll look it up. In Arizona, shifting Democrat. Whoops. I don't know. Continue without supporting. In Arizona, shifting demographics and President Trump's divisive style have helped Democrat Mark Kelly open up a polling lead over GOP Senator Martha McSally. This race is an especially pivotal one for Senate Republicans who are trying to hold on to their majority amid what both Republican and Democrat strategists predict could be a blue wave. The first thing in this race we need to talk about is that Kelly is the best Senate candidate in the country running as a Democrat, said a longtime Republican political strategist in Arizona. Oh, okay. A little over 2 years ago, Arizona was represented in the U.S. Senate by 2 Republicans. It had a Republican governor, and Republicans held majorities in both chambers of the state legislature. If current polling holds, 2 weeks from now, all that will... Okay, I don't give 2 fucks. Tell me who won. God damn it. Comparing the candidates. Wait, who won? Wait. I don't care. Who won? Is this already decided yet? 1 month ago, polls, Arizona Senate special election results. Mark Kelly, the Democrat, seems to have won, and it was 51.2 to 48.8. So I mean that is quite close. They're within 100,000 of each other, or less than that. 98% reported 25 minutes ago. Am I okay with saying this if it's only 98%? Mark Kelly, Democrat, wins the Senate special election. Okay, and this says who would win?
3 points. Rasmussen's only showing her losing by 2 points. I mean, it's a close race.
I mean, so to his credit, it does appear that it was a close race, though. To make the decision one way versus the other because of 1 or 2 polls versus the whole entire collective. This is what I'm talking about. Like, guys, you can have a sneaking suspicion or you can have a hope that the Republicans could win something. But if there are polls saying all of this, if we're going to talk about what is most likely and what the polls say, just say that the polls have Kelly up or that the polls say that Kelly is most likely to win. You don't have to argue with what the fucking polls say because you're literally arguing with a fucking wall. It already exists. They've already done the fucking math. So you just have to, at the end of the day, say, do I believe that or not? I wouldn't pretend like you actually care about the polling by picking the 3 or 4 that actually agree with you and saying, well, you know, you believe in these 50 polls that believe this thing, but I actually believe in this handful that I think will get it right. Like, couldn't you just say you don't think that the 50 are going to be right? Yeah, but I don't just think that they're not going to be right. I think that these other ones got it more correct. Like, you don't really believe the other ones got it more correct. You just believe that that one set is wrong. You don't have reasons to believe that these polls are more correct. He doesn't have a reason to believe that Susquehanna is more correct because that's not how he presented that position. He said that there are polls that say the opposite, which is not a very helpful thing to say. It's more helpful to like, okay, I just don't believe that this is going to happen this way, right? Because that's how I was with all these things saying that Biden's going to win. Like, I'm like, okay, I know that they all say that Biden has a huge lead, but I don't necessarily believe that because I want to wait and see. Like, I think he won last time and the shit wasn't correct, so I'm just going to wait and see. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm not saying that the ones that guess that Trump wins are likely to be more correct. I don't make stupid fucking claims. I make a claim that is truthful, which is, hey, everything seems to point in this direction. They pointed in that direction last time we got it wrong, so I'm going to have some healthy skepticism about the polls this time. And that's more correct than saying, I believe the polls that have McSally up, or, but there are 5 polls that say she's up. So, it could be a toss-up. Like, I wouldn't say, don't say bullshit. Just say what's actually true. If you don't believe the shit's correct, you don't believe the shit's correct. But then don't act like you have evidence to the contrary and you believe it because of evidence. You believe it because last year it wasn't right or whatever. Point to the thing that actually led you to the belief. Don't lead somebody down this bullshit, because there's no way you looked at these fucking 3 polls from these people and I like what they do better. Like, no, you didn't really. You just think that, like, this is going to be lost. Come on, just be real. I don't know. I hate that shit. Woo, bro. Holding that ideology pretty tight. They weren't right. What do you mean? They were right. They guessed it. Kelly won. What do you mean? No. Oh, you're killing me. Let's see if we had any new patrons. I announced all the way up to Polecat. Okay, so no, I'm good. We're up to date on that. All right, cool.
And if the whole election breaks GOP because of Trump, I could see it happening.
But I mean, look, I don't know if you're looking at my stream, but like, this is like one poll out of just, tens of polls here showing Kelly up +9, 13. I mean,
we'll see. I don't necessarily think these polls are 100% right. I think you have to look at more than just these polls.
Right,
you have to look at voter enthusiasm.
Okay, so voter enthusiasm, which is a subjective thing that he's measuring, is always going to be worth more than polls. That's what we're looking for. I don't care about the polls, bro. You let me know when Biden has a rally and billions of people show up or whatever the fuck. Yeah, give me that. That's what I care about. Don't pretend like, have you read the fucking 4 polls and their fucking master methodology where they actually predict it? Like, no, you don't really believe that. Just tell me you don't believe in the fucking polls and that you think there's still more enthusiasm for Trump, and so you don't give a fuck about the polls. Because then we don't have to talk about the polls. Then we can move past it. This is somewhere where LCTRFan dips into the annoying territory that I see a lot of Twitch politics dip into, where we get caught in arguments or disagreements about shit that you don't really care about. Like, to give a lefterly example, remember that panel that I was in where that dude was saying, like, Trump has never disavowed racist. Trump has, throughout his entire presidency, been in complete support of racist and racist ideology and yada yada. And it's like, well, pause, dude, because he did say he has, like, he has spoken out against racists in particular, and he has spoken out against racism in the country. And they're like, well, no, I don't think he has, and whatever. And no, it's not you don't think he has. It's you don't care even if he did, right? Let's, once I present that, I want you to sit there and chew on it for a bit and think about whether or not it's real. Because it is real. Because I then showed a quote, and I said, look, you don't have to tell lies to have this argument between us, right? Because even if I show you the truth, which is that he did decry racism before, it doesn't change your opinion, because your opinion didn't hinge on that. You misunderstood where your opinion is coming from, and I, as a fucking dumb monkey living outside of your body, was able to guess it. That means I trust a lot less what you have to say, because you don't have your own, like, checks and balances ready on your monkey brain. Like, people like that I get worried with, and I have to put red flags next to in my head because they're just not good at regulating themselves. Like, it's annoying to have to deal with. Like, don't waste time on telling me bullshit that you don't think that doesn't reflect your thought process. Don't tell me bullshit, bro. Just tell me what you actually believe. I don't care if it sounds dumb as fuck. If it sounds dumb as fuck, then you should feel uncomfortable with that you have a dumb as fuck take. Like, but don't waste my time because you want to trick yourself into why you believe what you believe. You be real with yourself, be outwardly real with me, so I don't have to waste time on your fucking baggage about what you believe and why you believe it. Just be real, bro. That's what I'm saying. And he's been good for a lot of this, but I'm saying this is something I see in a lot of people. Don't be this person. Don't be this person arguing bullshit you don't actually believe in. Just fucking say your piece, bro, and deal with the consequences of whatever that is, right? like me all the time, if somebody's like, oh, wouldn't this be considered a Bayesian analysis of I don't like those fucking words, bro. I'm not engaging with you about that shit. And if you go, oh, Booksmart seems like a bit of a dumb fuck. He doesn't want to talk about Bayesian economics or this or that. Like, okay, whatever. Bayesian analysis, I don't give two fucks, bro. I don't care if you come in here with philosophy terms and not engaging with it. And if that makes me a dumb fuck, I'm okay with that. But I'm real with you that the reason I want to talk about that is because I don't think that those are helpful ways to communicate. I don't think philosophy is a good tool for communication unless everybody speaks the same philosophical language and they have the same prerequisite reading. They have the same education, because I think you need those things to speak in that language, right? And I talk about that all the time. And I don't think that's the most five-head take or whatever. I think it's actually kind of dumb, kind of ignorant. But I put it out there, and I put it in the most realistic mapping to the way I see the world possible, so that if people have a problem with it or they want to interface with it, they can interface it. They can interface with it at the level that I believe it. Not some like, I believe this stupid fucking thing, but if I were to explain that I believe it in this stupid fucking way, I would be in trouble. Let's find out some convoluted way that I could explain why I believe this. Or even worse, let's find some sources that could explain why I have this sneaking suspicion about this thing. Like, don't do that, bro. Don't do that. Just be real with me. Because otherwise you start to reason yourself into positions that you don't reasonably believe in either. Like, you're under the guise that you have a reasonable position because you faked it so much in arguments that you yourself are convinced that that's why you believe it, even if it's far from the reality. And so we could have a conversation where I start to pick that out in you. Like, I start to ask questions that are painting the picture that your beliefs lie somewhere else, and then you get confused and upset with me as if I'm invalidating everything that you've said because I'm the one that's figuring that out, because we had to figure that out together because you haven't thought about it on your own. That's frustrating. So if I have people viewing me and listening to me right now, and you think you might have this with some stuff, take today, like, go for a Booksmarts walk and just think about it for a little bit. Just think, hey, when Booksmarts was talking about that today, I wonder if there is shit that I argue with people about in ways that I don't really believe it, but it's just the most convenient way to argue about it. And then spend some time thinking, how can I take the idea in its less ideal form and make it more easily arguable? Like, and make sure that that constantly is mapping back to reality, what I actually believe. So build out the actual opinion that you have. Don't start replacing it with, like, you know, random shit that you find online or random shit that Destiny has said or whatever. Try to, like, do your own work with that. Anywho. Let's see. Sounds like reasonable person privilege, to be honest. Some people with trash beliefs can't get away with what you do. I don't understand what you mean. I want to understand what you mean, but I don't understand it. Bayesian epistemology, bruh. Bayesian analysis is a statistics term, not a philosophical one, idiot. Okay, I don't care. NCAR, so yeah, they were pretty accurate despite some outliers. All the most reputable pollsters have it at, what are you guys talking about? Advice for everyone? Israel, did I see a +13 and +17 in there? Yeah, accurate polls. Well, did IRI say, how can you believe this when some of the polls are saying +13 and +17? No. IRI said, hey, 50 of these polls are predicting it one way, and you're pretending like the 2 or 3 are the most convincing to you that went the other way. Could we not just say that there may be another reason that you don't believe in all these polls? That's what I'm saying. So, yeah. You going, but Booksmarts, I know 90% of them guessed it right, but there was 1% in that 90% that guessed it right way too big. Like, okay, that doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about. Is taking IRI's side because he supports a welfare state? Yeah, because I want 100% taxation, bro. I want us to take it all away. Yeah.
Let's have a smell, all right? Ooh, off day.
You have to look at turnout. How many people are really going to be super excited to turn out? The Democrats don't have campuses in session in a lot of important states. Campuses haven't been in session, so Democrats haven't been able to, register and get to vote.
How much have the students been voting? Did you see who our candidate is? It's certainly not Bernie. Those fucks don't come out even when they have the goddamn day off, bro.
A bunch of uninformed little university students. So there's all kinds of problems. Joe Biden didn't have a door knocking campaign at all this entire summer.
Are we going to talk about how young people are super spreaders? They be out there without masks and shit. You really think they're afraid to pull up to the polls when they ain't got school or anything going on? I don't know, bro. That seems like some backwards-ass logic.
Trump door knocked millions of doors and Joe Biden did nothing. I mean, I think you have to look at a bunch of. You can't just look at these polls.
I won't disagree with you on the point about the colleges with a lot of kids staying home and they're going to school remotely. It definitely affects turnout and such. But yeah, I guess we'll find out here. What is your plan for election night? Are you going to be streaming? What are you going to be doing?
I guess I am going to be streaming. I guess I kind of have to.
You're going to shoutcast the night or just kind of hang out with like some channel playing and watching the results with your community?
Yeah, probably just watching live TV results.
Is there a state that you think it comes down to? We saw in Meet the Press they said it's going to be Florida. Florida's really interesting because all the ballots are due by election day, whereas Pennsylvania you can postmark them by the election day. But Florida's everything. So like, is there a certain state that you think is going to decide this whole thing?
I mean, I think Trump has it in the bag in Florida. Trafalgar.
Oh, are we about to embarrass them? I bet Florida. Okay, so context, guys. I alluded to it before. I didn't watch the election the entire time it happened. I stayed off of social media for the most part. Florida Electoral College. Votes counted, 99%. All right, looking fly for a white guy. What are we looking like? What do we got? What we got? Whoa, that's a lot of D's. Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Mr. Postman. What the fuck? Wait, what happened here? Whoa. Wait, is it just me being colorblind? Is this fucking all blue? Wait, how many Wait. But it look all red here. What the fuck? Wait. Okay, he got 29. Okay, so he got all of them. He still won. Why is all this blue? Oh, these are polls. Ah, those Democrats and their tricky fucking polls. There's about as many holes in their polls as their immigration policy. Okay. Wow, you guys fucked that up. What happened here? You got me listening to LCTRFan now. Maybe the polls are all wrong, bro. Okay. Just making sure. Okay, so to be clear, all of the votes ended up going to Donald Trump and not Joe Biden, just to be clear. So that did not flip. Wait, how did this state go, though? Wait, hold on. Electoral. Can I look at a map? I actually haven't looked at this. Electoral map 2020. Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. Let's check this out. 270 to win. All right, cool. He edged past that shit. All right, he got Washington, Oregon. Oh, okay. Nevada. Okay. Arizona's blue. Woo-wee. 12,000 vote difference. Oh, shit. Well, we better recount those. New Mexico, okay. Colorado, okay. Utah didn't. Fair enough. Texas didn't. I heard there was talk of Texas flipping. Georgia, why are you this color? What have you done? 57 to 71. Oh, shit. What's going on with Georgia? No, it's these fucking Democratic shithole cities. Oh, you guys are ruining it. You're ruining it for your state. We could have such low taxes and no regulations. Ah. Okay. What about North Carolina? Why are you this color? 737 of 664. Damn, hold up. Let's do some quick math. 47 plus 64, that gets us up to the 1 goes here. That's 7, that's 0. That's a 7, that's 1, 3, 7, 1, 3, 7, 3. Oh, shit. I wonder if Miss Jorgensen fucked this up for our boy here or something. Interesting. Well, looks like Trump's gonna win this one, right? I heard info that North Carolina was flipping. I don't know. Okay. Pennsylvania, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nebraska. This is by no fault of these Democratic run cities are fucking up our map. How is it that we have these two little blocks and they constitute such a large portion of our vote? Okay. Well, I guess Steve got in his vote, right? Isn't he here? Isn't this his state? Oh, wait, hold on. Did, what's his name? Okay, it's blue. All right. Did what's his name end up voting? Did Dan end up voting, or was that a whole meme? I heard that he was thinking of not voting or some shit after giving a bunch of other people crap about it. Like a fucking piece of shit. Interesting. Okay, well. There we go. That's the electoral map. Interesting. Is there any other states that I wouldn't expect to be where they are? Let's see. Montana's red. Idaho's red. Honestly, Arizona's a little bit surprising. Everything else seems like it makes sense. I mean, this could have gone either way, right? Iowa? How much do you win by? Like 100,000 almost? Wait, no. 50, 60,000? Interesting. Okay, I think I'm done with this map. Kind of boring.
Trafalgar has Trump up 2 in Florida.
What are you guys
Rasmussen has
saying?
Trump up 4 in Florida. So I think it's...
Hold on. Let me see what you guys are saying real quick. He didn't register in time. Dan didn't vote. What a fucking idiot, dude. What a fucking lying. What a Weasley little liar, dude. Didn't he say he was going to vote? Didn't he give people shit? That's fucking a word that I can't say. Whatever. Steve lives in California. Joke's on you. Steve didn't vote in California, dumbass. A true libertarian wouldn't, in my opinion. Jedi pork, since Trump is an authoritarian light. Yeah, maybe. Joseph Joestar Biden. Interesting. Destiny turned Omaha blue. Dan didn't vote. And Omega lol. Fuck. Dan, the man with a plan who didn't vote. Interesting. Dan, the empty ballot man. It was by accident. He didn't know how to. No, that's fucking stupid. Who gets to use this excuse? Does Dan really get the accident excuse? Dan of all fucking people, you really gonna give him that level of fucking you know, that level of consideration? I don't think so. Dan's a man who comes up with plans. I don't think he fucking did anything by accident. It's all a part of it, bro. He saw that it was going blue and he's like, fucking my vote doesn't count. Boo. I want lower taxes. Boo. Boo. Fucking Dan, whatever. Actually, Steve votes for Nebraska's 2nd district. Yeah. All my homies hate Dan. Yikes. Not me. Dan didn't get his shit sorted in time because he's a dumb fuck. That's such a good fucking meme. Okay, what is this? Thanks, Dad. Big win for us in Florida. Oh, shit. Dan, the suppressed voter man. Okay. Dan, who owns 1,000 businesses and is a literal millionaire, couldn't figure it out, I guess. Yeah, if Kanye can fucking register all fucking last minute, Dan can figure out how the fuck to get his vote, and that's silly.
I'm not concerned about Florida. I think it would come down to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania.
How did that go? Pennsylvania. Where the fuck's Pennsylvania? 99. Okay, so how big is the difference? 55,000 votes? That seems a little small to me. It's kind of not a huge difference. 55,000 votes? Interesting. So that went that way. Interesting.
It's a big one. Although, I think Trump is going to have an even bigger win than 2016, though. So that's my prediction. I'm going all in. If I'm right, great. If I'm wrong, I'm probably wrong.
Well, that's what I like about you is, you know, people out there are like, hey, you never know, this could happen. It's like, no, take a stand, right? Like, nobody's going to hold it against you, right? Like, just take a stand. I like confidence. I like taking a position, you know? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Who cares?
Heck yeah.
I don't. Fuck that, dude. Don't talk about shit you don't know. Fuck that. Wait till it's over. Talk about it then. Don't matter. No, my friend. You're wrong there. Don't predict on shit you don't know shit about, bruh. Don't be the guy with these big-ass predictions when you got the 5-head take of, I'm not listening to any of the polls because people come out to the rallies and the dude that's not taking the virus seriously. I think he's going to win by an even bigger margin than last time because his presidency has gone so good. The swamp is drained down to the boggy, muddy substrate. Our taxes are all lowered. The economy's doing great. We kicked the Wu flu's ass. Like, no, none of that fucking happened. He didn't do shit. He didn't replace Obamacare. He fucked everything. If you actually cared about the shit that this dude said he was going to do, I cannot believe that you would come out here and say that he's done such a good job that the turnout will be better for him than it was last time. So fucking silly and dumb. Even if you liked him because of the policies he put forward, I expect you to hold him accountable and say he didn't do it. In much the same way that the people for second-term Obama were like, hold up, bro. You gotta get your shit worked out, bro. We're still fucked with immigrants. We're still fucked with the Middle East. We're still fucked with your fucking healthcare. You need to fix this shit, bro. You're not doing anything you said you were gonna do. What the fuck happened to work with the Republicans, bro? Like... And that's fine, but that's what I expect of somebody. Like, criticize your dude for this shit. Don't just go, I think Obama's gonna have a huge landslide because he did such a good job with fixing all of our immigrant problems and our healthcare. Like, no, he didn't, dude. If you're going to say it's going to be a landslide, just say it's because dumb fucks don't pay attention to what the president's actually doing and they just like him. But don't tell me that it's because he succeeded in all of his policy endeavors or he did so well that people want him in again, because it's not really the reason. Even if he would have gotten elected again, I would say it's just like Obama, where a bunch of people got tricked into fucking hopium and they think they're going to get some shit done, but it's just as unlikely as it was the first time around, and we may have benefited from just trying somebody else out. Whatever. Hopefully they learn that lesson. Don't try this again in 2024. Otherwise, it's going to be like fucking rip. I don't know.
Dance around.
Am I being too hot right now? Is this a lot of hot takes? Book's accents are all over the place. Yeah, when my accents are going all over the place, you know I'm like thinking in real time. It's all the voices, bruh. The redneck voice turned into the parrot from Aladdin. Jafar! I'm embarrassed. I'm blushing. I love that little parrot. Pog. Booksmarts is secretly Gilbert Gottfried. True. Booksmarts Trump is actually Gilbert Gottfried. Dan was a fucking boomer and didn't realize that he did. I don't believe this, dude. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe that Dan actually accidentally did shit. I think he just didn't want to vote. Dan, who owns 1,000. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. In the second term, Obama did more than on climate. Well, yeah, because he didn't give a fuck. Because now he's like, oh, I know in the past I said I wanted to work with people, but I'm just going to do this shit on my own. I don't care about what the Republicans think, and I'm just going to pass some shit on my own. Like, yeah, duh. Of course he did more in his second thing, because he just didn't give a fuck anymore. He came into the first one thinking, I have this wonderful plan. I'm going to reboot our industry with renewable resources, which are bound to be the future for this global economy. And I'm going to fix the economy at the same time by creating jobs in these valuable fields and cementing our place as an industry leader in these technologies, which surely will be important moving into the future. And the Republicans went, this dumb fuck believes that when we're burning the gas is putting shit in the atmosphere. This dude's worrying about some shit that the fucking dinosaurs haven't worried about. Buddy, I've not been concerned with CO2 in the atmosphere for the last 2.5 million years. You go ahead and call me up when you're fucking done talking with all these dumbasses in the Antarctic pulling up ice and fucking measuring how much ash was in it. You tell me when your fucking horoscope of science tells us that the world is on fire, and I'll go ahead and believe it. But until then, we're going to have cars, you dumb fuck. We're going to have this. We're going to have that. You know, and they just didn't care. And it's like, guys, come on. He tried. And then he was like, I got elected again. And that means you're fucked, okay? I'm going to put into place some measures that you wouldn't pass when I tried to do them on my own. And I know that, you know, whatever. Book is from Boston, confirmed. No, not really. I need to stop. He at least maintained the respectability of America. America's reputation got trashed by the Trump years. I don't know. This is like if you no, never mind. I'm not going to make a domestic abuse joke. I'll go ahead and keep that one in my back pocket. It's just I need to end the stream, dude. I got a lot of thoughts. I got to end the stream. Hold on. To be fair, Trump did have a bigger turnout this time than in 2016. True, but Biden had a bigger one. Also true. Oh, shit. Actually, decent impression. I'm telling you this from Australia. That is the international perception. I love the international perception. It's probably more valuable to me, to be honest. We're going to have cars, and we're going to have the gabagool. What the fuck is this gabagool thing you guys keep saying? What the fuck is that? The gabagoo. That's the only thing I can think when you say gabagoo. It sounds like that. Gabadoo. Whatever that thing is. It's some salami. Oh, okay. Gabagool is a meme from The Sopranos. Interesting. It's the New Jersey Italian pronunciation of capricola. Why the fuck do they pronounce it gabagoo? Hey! Hey! You want some gabagoo? Hey! Hey! Lenny! You want some gabagoo?
Of course, fucking.
Hey! Is that kind of shit? Gabagool is bad Jersey Italia for capaculo. I'll tell you what, if you're copping some culo, that's a naughty thing in Spanish. I don't think you should be copping any culos unless you have their permission. Italian, it's like prosciutto. They came from a region in Italy that talked funny. Interesting. Don't all the regions in Italy talk funny? Isn't that what Italy is known for? Is talking funny? I don't know. Maybe I'm a racist. On that note, it's probably best that we stop streaming. So let's go ahead and move over. Sopranos Gabagool, super cold cut. Oh, here, let me put this on 1x and then we'll watch it together. That'll be the last thing that we do. Some Americanized Italians pronounce prosciutto prosciutto. Hey, you got some prosciutto.
Gabriel says me down here for the gabagool. The gabagool.
The gabagool.
Don't eat gabagool, Grandma. It's nothing but fat and nitrates.
Gabagool. Over here.
I love the way these dudes talk, bro. I feel like this is how my family talked in a past life.
Hey, forward ham, salami, gabagool.
Forward ham, salami, gabagool.
Taking the gabagool and shit out of the fridge.
Taking the gabagool and shit out of the fridge. You know, that accent is really, really close naturally for some weird reason. That is weird that comes in so clearly.
Let's get back to that gabagool.
Oh, she pronounces the L in gabagool, though.
Gabagool. All this from a slice of gabagool. The gabagool.
All this from a slice of gabagool. Okay. All right. That's a fun meme. Now I know. Talk funny? You should come to India. Oh, I want to learn the head bobbing thing they do in India. I like the head bobbing. The head bobbing seems like a cool dimension of like rhetoric and conversation that I wish we had like an equivalent of in the U.S. Because we don't really. Yeah, you really sound like a Northeasterner. Interesting. Do you live on the East Coast? I bet based on this. No, I live in California my entire life. Yikes, that nose. What are you talking about my nose for, bro? As far as I understand it, from an Italian restaurateur, I know no Italian says that. Yeah, interesting. Biden has less political power today. Maybe. All of these Jersey Italian words are made up. Black girls have it. It's very effective. What are you talking about? Hold up. Okay, we gotta go. You guys are getting racist now. Let's see. So, wrapping up. It's worth ooh, I almost just knocked over the whole fucking monitor onto myself. So, guys, here's what's happening. So today, 11 a.m., we had the LCTRFan versus IRI thing. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to do the book club. The book club is on a book called Range by David Epstein. Now, this is a book that's about like kind of like psychology and learning and expertise, and it pulls into question some more modern thinkers like Pinkerton or Pinkers, whatever the fuck, the 10,000 hour rule guy. It brings into like in a lot of like concepts that I think if you're into pop science or whatever, you may have heard of. And then it kind of breaks down how like depending on the way we look at like our understanding of learning, it seems like we don't quite know enough. It seems like a lot of our thoughts on learning and on improving ourselves for our careers and for our education seem to be built around certain kinds of learning environments, certain kinds of working environments, which are unusually kind to people. And by kind, I mean the patterns repeat over and over again. The more time that you spend practicing in these fields, it'll directly lead to improved performance because the variables may change, but the rules around them do not. So for instance, if I put 10,000 hours into learning how to be a chess prodigy, chess has very specific rules. And if I can learn a bunch of different games, how they went, some strategies, I can start building a knowledge base that will always work in every single chess game. And chess also has the added benefit of not having any secret or hidden information in it. Everybody can see where all the pieces are on the board at once. You have immediate knowledge of the entire game state at once. If we just compare a game like chess and all the time you had put into becoming a good chess player, and we take that, put it to the side, and we compare it to poker. Poker is a completely different kind of learning environment. Poker has hidden information, which immediately changes everything. Nobody at once at the poker table knows the entire game state of the board. I don't know what's in your hands. I don't know what's going to come up, on the flop or whatever the fuck is in the middle of the table when you're flipping the cards, the river. I don't know whatever word you use for it. I don't have access to that information. I have to work with imperfect information. And therefore, the rules and structures that I have to follow and that I have to practice do not lend themselves towards recurring outcomes, do not lend themselves to being like, good rules of thumb that I can always follow. There's a lot of like feeling involved in intuition and the implementation of systems outside of poker, right? So the kinds of information that I'm drawing upon when I'm in a poker game and I'm trying to perform, even the experiences of past poker games, are all kind of based on like other things. Like maybe I know, you're the kind of guy who fucking throws down a flop and, thinks about it this way and fucking comes in here disrespecting me, pushing on a fucking bluff when you know for sure that you ain't got shit in your hand. Like there's a lot of people skills there. Maybe there's a lot of like, in any case, this learning environment is super different. Even if we wanted to get good at poker, the way you get good at poker is going to look a lot different than the way you get good at chess. And unfortunately, a lot of learning environments are wicked. They're the opposite of kind. They're like poker, where there are unknown elements, where you are kind of forced into a position where you have to make decisions without perfect information, and you're having to make a lot of guesses, right? And so that's just one example of the framing that it uses that's different than how we normally think of things and brings into question the current research we have on things. Most people's jobs have imperfect information. Most people's jobs are not this recurring pattern thing that they can just like train for. Most people's jobs do require them to bring in some creativity, that do require them to bring in knowledge from outside of the work to try and benefit like your performance or your productivity or whatever. And so it's really, really cool. It's really, really cool. Tells are all fake, all right? It's perfect. Wicked smart. I'm sure Books knows a guy who knows a guy. Chat, I'm new here, so do we read all the book to discuss it tomorrow? Nah, you just need to read chapter 1. That is the difference between complete information and incomplete information games. Yes, we talk about that as well. They talk about all these concepts in the book. The book covers like a wide array of psychology concepts and of educational concepts. So the fun that I'm going to have is going chapter by chapter, taking a bunch of very specific notes and giving you insights into my past work on all of these different topics and like what I think about it. Now, this first book club, it'll just be me, and I'll be going through chapter 1 and what I'm excited for the book. I hope that on the next week that we do this, which will probably be more than one chapter, it'll probably be like 2 through 4 or 2 through 5, I can invite other streamers who can come on, or I can record them before, and I can play a clip of them on stream as like an interlude of like what were your thoughts, what were your biggest takeaways. I'll have questions for them, and then I'll put those into a big YouTube video that'll go on the YouTube. So I have a lot of hope for that, and that's really going to help me practice for the note-taking video project as well. I really want to get better at implementing interviews and things like that from people and multiple people. That way we can have a video that's got like 10 streamers or 5 streamers or something in it. And even if they aren't interested in this book, I can always collect bigger streamers and have that in mind and have a separate book club for whatever the fuck they want to talk about. I mean, I could have more than one book club. As you guys know, I usually will read like anywhere from like 1 to as many as like 3 or 4 books a week. So I would like to do more book clubs, and I can probably do one like every week and maybe have like 2 series that happen every 2 weeks. And they're just going to be on separate books. Maybe one will be for me and big streamers and the other will be for like normal stuff. I don't know. What the hell is in those red jugs? This is for Kimiko. Kimiko's my robot wife. She needs this red line oil, okay? It's gear oil, okay? Because I'll tell you, when she starts grinding my gears, I got to start making sure she's not grinding her own. You know what I'm saying? She's a feisty lady, and when she starts, when she's not got enough lube in her, she gets real feisty, you know? So I got to worry about that. Got to keep them oiled. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Have faith, friend. Hell yeah. Your lighting is way off. Is it really? I don't think my lighting is super off. Is it really? Book uses motor oil as lube. Noted. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Look at Captain Assumptions here, fucking Lintrinsic. Whoa, lube? Ain't nobody talking about lube. We're talking about motor oil, buddy. Come on now. Come on now. Goodness gracious. Okay. I gotta let you guys go, or I'm gonna keep making dirty jokes. Let's see. Who are we gonna raid into? Let's do Deepak.
Because my PS4 still deserves some love, despite.
Did she say my penis? Okay. You're a sweetheart, buddy. I'm excited for tomorrow's stream. Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Is it all right at Booksmarts? I'm dying laughing. Grind those gears. Keep them greased. Okay, I'll leave you guys on this note. All right. Kimiko and I are like oil and water, dude. Okay? We don't really mix super well, but I like that. And so one thing that we disagree on, Kimiko loves this fucking oil, but I got to tell you, your boy likes... I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this. Never mind. This is not smart. Book smarts. You should put Kimiko on all of your green screen backgrounds. No, okay? That's a smart idea, though. Yeah, maybe I'll include Kimiko in some videos. If you heat it enough, oil and water can mix. If you shake it enough, I'll tell you, they can also mix. Google emulsification, okay? Let's just say I like to get emulsed in that poon, bro. In that nice robot pussy, bro. Add some surfactant to heal your relationship, buddy. Nah, Kimiko likes a little bit of friction. She likes it, you know. She grinds my gears, I grind her gears, Got him. Is emulsion truly a mix, though? I mean, you give it enough time, bro, and those things will settle out. The good shit will come up to the surface, I'll tell you. And then you got to clean it all up. Anyways, holy shit. Let's just, hold on. We need to find, where are we going? David Pacman? Is that what we've decided? /raid. Oh, God. David Pacman. I think I have to do this on Twitch because I don't think my virgin ears. Yikes. Yeah, hold on. This is not good. This is not good. We got to get out before I say more stuff. Oh, no. Not good. We got to get out before I say more stuff. Yeah, we do. Oh, no. Okay, there we go. We're going to Deepak. Everybody hop in. Toot toot. See you later. And as far as the YouTube people, go join the Patreon and watch the video that's on there. It'll be fun. All right. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one in Deepak. Drop that flag emoji. So the yellow flag, go ahead and put that in there. And I'll see you later. Let's head over. Awesome. And then for everybody else, I'll see ya. Have a good one. I appreciate you. I'm going to play out the patron credits here. Thanks to all the patrons on Patreon. You can get that by doing !Patreon. If you enter in as a giver, which I believe is the $10 tier, your name will... Uh-oh, why is this paused? Your name will end up here, what you're seeing right now. And then if you join the $20 tier, your name will be on a separate slide, which will be in a GIF here. There we go. So right now we got 2 folks in there that are okay with being in there. If you want to be secret, just DM me and let me know. Otherwise, you'll be there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.